versus the University of Padua. Psycho, what do you think?
Well, on paper, these two teams are supposedly very, very close in terms of MMR. Obviously, we've seen a lot more of Durham than we have Padua. I don't think I've ever seen Padua live before, so it'll be interesting to see how these teams fare. And honestly, there's not much more we can say than that. It's going to be a very close matchup. Apparently, Padua finished 4th in the EUR winter season, and they're actually the second best team in Italy. So we've got high expectations for these boys. Durham defenders lost 1-3 to Birmingham in the promotion finals. Sad times for them. But they've also got a very strong roster of players, so we can expect it to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I think it will be very close. Durham have had roster change over the Christmas break, and I think they've been gelling the first few weeks. Would expect them to reach National League in the NSE sooner or later. So I think they do have what it takes to beat Padua, but it depends who shows up on the night. So I think without further ado, let's just get straight in to our first game. We'll be doing best of 5s all through, and of course, this is being the losers bracket. Anyone who loses a series today is out of EURC Spring 2020.
Yeah, it's going to be a tense matchup. We'll see what team can get warmed up into it first.
Oh, here we go. Durham put the kickoff back left, but Padua push up very fast. Aspires on that straightaway, and Mockingjay follows through. And he's got a shot, but Zouch clears it well off to the right-hand side. Misses the touch again, though. Mordisha with the demo, but it might not be enough. This is free off the backboard. Zouch again. Defensive rock for the Durham defenders.
Orange is piling on the pressure at the moment. Lots of balls flying around the blue area. Mockingjay takes the touch. Flies straight over to Zouch. Possession granted to the Blues. The Oranges just trying to test out the defence at the moment. Decent pass in. Spire slots it home. It's 1-0 to the Oranges.
Padua had all the early pressure there, took a commanding lead in possession, and now have the lead to show for it in this first match. Now we'll see from the kickoff here if Durham can pull off another one of their set plays. Goes off to the right, but active again. Padua pushing up on these kickoffs very fast. It's making the Durham set play on kickoff quite hard to pull off.
The Oranges still swarming around the blue half. The Blues really haven't seemed to get it out of their own half yet. All the pressure in favour of Padua. Speaking of which, another goal flies home. Great infield pass. Fantastic jump off the ground. Nobody to challenge from Durham. It's an easy goal, really. We'll see if they can adapt to the pressure coming in from the Padua team.
Yeah, they'll adapt. They'll need to do it, and they'll need to do it fast, because this Padua team are taking no prisoners. It almost seems like Durham aren't quite warmed up. They've been having a few missed touches, a bit slow to the ball there, HT champs. They will need to be a bit quicker to take any games from this Padua side. That's a good touch, though. Push that out to the right, but Durham are struggling to get going on either side of the ball at the moment.
Yeah, we see a counter-attack coming from Durham. Straight back to the Blues once more. Decent tap across goal, but it's not going to be enough. Despite trying to dash down the field, apply some pressure. At the moment it's a bit of a stalemate, bit of a back and forth. Nice ball delivered to Active. Decent touch into the middle as well. HT Champs well positioned to deal with it. And once again, they're just sort of whacking the ball at the moment, Padua. Just trying to test out the defence, and it's working a charm. Fantastic demo from Zouch, relieves some of the pressure. You're seeing Durham try and bounce back.
Well, that's going to be free off the backboard. Can Zouch get there? Not quite. Again, just a couple of missed touches plaguing this Durham team. HT Champs doing well to get it out into the middle, but no one believed in it enough to follow through. Durham team need to be more cohesive.
Good bit of haste once more coming out of defence on the Padua team. Mockingjay going to look for a touch. Almost beats his man there, but Mordisha is well up to the task. 50-50 from Aspire, not quite going to do it. Just a touch from Active. Zouch is just going to play this forward. Beats the first man, lots of space, hopefully an infield pass.
Oh, he's just missed it. Again, this Durham team looking new, which is of course what they are. And I think this sort of lack of cohesion is going to come back to haunt them. But HT Champ's got a chance. Zouch clears it off the line.
Oh, things you do hate to see. That's definitely not what they wanted. Finally, when Durham had a decent opportunity, and they've cleared it away themselves. Spy with a nice touch across to Active. He's still going, actually. Zouch not in a good place, but he's not on target.
Back boost. He's got a good touch there.
Ooh. Well controlled from Mockingjay. Just looking to alleviate some of that pressure. Maybe one more. He does get it past. Fantastic ball across.
Touch.
Seems to be open, not quite placed away.
I don't think HT Champs realised the shot was on when he took it. Otherwise, I think he would have dispatched that 9 times out of 10. This Durham team have done well to match Padua since the first minute of the game, but they've not really put on any threatening attacks. And they'll need to, obviously, if they want to get anything out of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Padua are looking the stronger team in this game one. Lots more opportunities being granted.
Again, they're caught way too far up.
Okay, there we go. Finally rolls home.
Despite Zouch's best efforts, he very nearly saved that on the goal line again. If you watch the replay, Zouch coming out of the goal. Just about
squeezed home. Active decided to run away. He thought it was all over. He thought the ball was in. Went for that corner boost straight after. Not the best call. And immediately Durham with some pressure. Mockingjay doesn't quite get the double tap.
Leaving their backfield so open. We've seen balls cruising towards empty nets on both sides so far this game.
Yeah, definitely. Now Durham at the moment struggling to get out of defence. Finally they do so. We're clear again from Active. Maybe a pass in field once more. They're always constantly trying to link up this Padua team, and that's a promising thing when most of the play being generated is just from individual effort. You can see Padua once again linking up really nicely, finding those plays on the wall.
Oh, Zouch's got time in the air, goes for a second touch off the backboard, down to Mordisha, and they've levelled it! Durham claw their way back with 4 seconds to go.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from Zouch. Mordicia well placed in the middle. And there's nobody in the orange team in the right position to deal with that. Albeit a difficult piece of defence to rise to the occasion to.
Durham will have the last attack. HT Chance managed to get it off the corner. Padua could be in a sticky situation here, but it will drop and we'll have overtime in game 1.
Well, we'll have to see if Durham can make the comeback from this 0-2 down. A fantastic free jump from Mockingjay. Pure confidence in knowing his teammates are rotating around him. He's able to jump for that ball in time. Quite the fantastic touch he had earlier after that, though. HT Champs with a whiff.
Big miss, but it won't cost Durham anything yet. Zouch's going to get back to it. Doesn't quite manage it, and that's going to give Padua a lot of time and space here, although they back off. Some odd rotational decisions coming out from both sides. Teams not committing fully, obviously overtime. Be a bit more cagey. That could be in. Mordisha's in trouble. Ooh.
It's a close effort. Mordici was placed well in net. It did look for a second as if he wasn't going to make it, but he did.
Wow, that was a howitzer of a shot, but Aspire very well placed to make the save on the rotating defence.
It's a bit of a dodgy touch from Active there. Concedes possession straight back to the Blues. That's a pinch. Way over the net.
No, it's crucial that a Padua player got a touch on that, because Zouch would have had it.
Oh,
it's a huge miss!
Oh, he's bottled it. Padua didn't quite claim the opportunity they were granted. It was sent from the heavens, and it was just a little bit too much, too rushed. Jay?
Yeah. Padua on the offense.
Pressure again.
Zouch, does he have enough to take this out? He's managed to get it, but not him, out of defence. He will chase it down. Managed to block up a Padua player in the corner. HT Chumps goes up, manages to get a touch, but nothing too useful for the defenders. That's a big miss from Zouch! That is not how you wanted to end this game on either side.
Well, hopefully we can see some improvements in the whiff department from the English teams. After all, I presume that's where the majority of the supporters are going to lie in the chat today. Zouch doesn't make contact on the first game, going to Padua. I would like to say quite convincingly, because the opportunities from Durham haven't been too satisfying. Zouch did that fantastic double touch to Mordicia in the middle earlier, but other than that, they haven't really shown much prowess, and it really is just going to be a matter of who can control the next game upfield.
Yeah, and if you're Durham, you don't want to lose this next game. You need to tighten up your defence, try and look for each other on the way out. They're getting a lot of good clears, but there's no one there to receive them on the other end. It's just giving possession straight back to the orange team. If you go 2-0 down against this Padua team, I don't fancy your chances, really.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Durham, they have had their glimmers of hope, but at the end of the day, the defence has just been a bit too weak this game, and obviously that final blow that was landed from Padua, Zouch couldn't quite get that touch. They're really going to have to solidify that defence if they want any hope of overcoming the offensive pressure, which is coming from Padua.
No, it's very true.
The first 2 minutes of play was all orange. All orange.
It was. And to be fair, Durham, even within that first game, they cleaned up their act. They got back. Yeah. It might not have been pretty at times, the defence, but it did its job. Durham didn't concede in the second half of that first game. And for obviously the first 2 minutes of that overtime. But I think it's the toothlessness up front that's going to get them. They need to connect with each other a bit more. Take a leaf out of Padua's book, look for some passes, look for some bumps. Neither team really going for any sort of physical play. But we'll get into this game too.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. See who can gain the pressure off of the kickoff, and I think that will determine how it's going to go for the next minute of play. Each team struggling to get out of their own defensive end for the majority of last game. So kickoffs will be important.
And Durham seem to be good at them. It's their saving grace at the moment.
Yeah, some fantastic play off of kickoff. They did a back kickoff, delivered a pass straight into the infield, active up.
Woof. Hair's breadth away from being 1-0 to Padua early doors again.
There's a ridiculously close attempt from Active. Once again, Durham on the back foot. They're just trying to look to alleviate pressure. Mordicia trying to do some fancy, musty stuff.
That's not what you want to see on defence, really. It looks pretty. Didn't really do very much. But Mordicia's nothing without his flair. So if he can get some of those big plays going on the offensive side of the ball, Durham may well have a decent chance of this series.
Yeah, definitely. Mordicia is the one to look out for, I would say, from the Durham team. He's very mechanical, very fast. Layoff in midair to Aspire.
Just about fast enough for that one.
Not sure what was going through the Padua mindset there, but it did work out. Active takes control, tries to knock it into the middle.
Again, the defensive touches from Zouch. Durham are falling apart.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. Zouch with a poor touch straight to Mockingjay, and there's just some panic on defence. There was no need to go up immediately after that poor touch. Could have waited it out to see what was going to happen. It's going to be 1-0 to Padua.
And again, we're seeing the same kind of problems that plagued Durham in the first game. They do just look slow to get started, and as we saw in the last game, even though they eventually did get started, it was still ultimately too little too late. Although this from HT Champs is free, down off the bar. It's going to be a difficult read for Zouch, and he doesn't quite make it, although
lots of panic at the moment.
Defense on the orange side again.
Lots of panic. Nice touch across from Active. Straight to Mockingjay, once again linking up out of defence. These counter-attacks could be a fantastic remedy to the pressure coming from Durham. If only Durham had a similar mechanism of coming out of their half.
Again, that pass could have been brilliant from the blue side, but just too far forward. HT Champs couldn't quite reach it. That could have levelled it, done. This looks better. It looks more promising from them. They're playing with more confidence. That's another good pass. Oh, HT Champs nearly gets it in. Zouch manages to tee up Mordicia. I did wonder for a second if the third man was going to come in from Durham.
Incredibly scrappy from Padua there. They sort of collided.
huge bump onto active, cleared him out of the way from Ordisha.
Definitely the saving grace on that offensive attack. It's going to be a 1-1 game. Mockingjay looking for that clear to the side. Once again, linking up with active. That is what we like to see.
The difference. Durham closing down quicker this time. Might be what they need.
Definitely. Just one goal can provide you with that offensive confidence that you need to challenge balls earlier, push forward to more aggressive positions, and ultimately try and break away from the opposition.
Good back pass, but HT Chunks closes that down very quickly, and this should be Zouch's ball. An excellent turn with the handbrake there. He's dribbled 2, 1 to beat.
Make it 3.
Oh, Mordisha just knocks it into the crossbar. I think he had more time than he believed.
That's exactly right. Fantastic solo play coming from Durham. It's definitely more promising in terms of the nature of how their opportunities are coming about. It's not just whacking the ball, it's whacking the ball with actual plan, which is what we do
like this one, out to Mordisha. It's a bold commitment to go for that ball as the third man. He got a touch, and that's all that matters. HT jumps. Mordisha jumped for it. So unnecessary from the defenders. HT Champs could easily have had that goal.
It's very messy at the moment. Neither team really performing as they should at the moment. Hopefully,
huge miss. This is staggering on the defensive from both sides. As soon as the ball gets into their half, they panic.
Neither team wanting to lose this game, it seems. Might only be game 2, but there are some nerves coming about, and I feel a lack of trust as well, because all these players are littered in the same sort of areas across the field, all cluttered, no real spacing between players. We've got Zouch trying to get out of his own defence.
Left HT Champs on his own, but double commit from Padua makes the shot incredibly weak and easy to deal with for HT Champs, who now gets the ball back to Mordisha. This is better. If Mordisha had any boost, they might have been able to do anything with it.
Good fake out there from Zouch to HT Champs. Mocking going to look to whack this one away. He actually leaves it to Aspire, the smarter call. Zouch. He gets beaten out there. That touch was a tad too heavy. Mordisha.
Might come back to Zouch here. If you can get a decent touch, HT Champs might be on it. It's a good dunk, but Aspire's going to clear that away, and Mordisha has to do well here to hold the ball up, let his team get some boost and get back. All 3 Padua players in this corner. Mockingjay is going to have to do very well here. Not from a touch like that from Mordisha. Ball hasn't touched. Zouch has it. Not quite. Couldn't get around it. And we go to overtime again.
Was looking very promising at the end there for Padua. All 3 players aggressing. One of the keepers almost got slapped about by an aggressing bumper from the Padua side. They couldn't make it stick.
Again, Mordisha jumping as that third man. It's bold, but you've got to wonder how many times he can do that before Durham really paid a price.
Yeah. So long as he's got his men behind him, he has every in diving for some of these loose balls.
Men behind him here. That's a good touch onto the backboard.
Mordisha forward to HT
Champs. A little boost. He's popped it onto the backboard.
Could be it. Oh no!
Zouch bundles it in! Durham, again, not pretty, but it does the job here in game 2.
They've made it stick. Mordisha with a strange attempt at a double touch, but it's actually gone perfectly down to Zouch. And ultimately, it's a win for Durham, and they're going to be happy with that, definitely considering their game 1 performance. Hopefully this is going to provide them with some strength to take the next games in their storm.
Certainly looks much better. Still not the best we've seen from the defenders, I don't think. Still probably, not that I've seen much of Padua, still not the best we've seen from either team, I think it's fair to say. But, you know, I think there's room for improvement on both teams, and it might well just come down to who improves the quickest and who improves first. Because both teams have a lot more to give, I think.
I think they do, yeah. As I said earlier, it's probably about spacing yourselves out, having trust in your teammates' abilities, and just try not to clutter yourselves too much, because when you get in a sticky situation where one of 3 people can dive for a ball, but all decide to do so at the same time, it's always going to end up in horror. And Oh, just watching some of these replays back, it's incredibly messy from Padua. But Durham do...
You're only watching more of the mess from Padua because it cost them more in the overtime. Neither team looking particularly cohesive on defence, it must be said. But, you know, it's effectively a clean slate now. We go into what is nominally a best of 3. We're going to get straight into this third game. Both teams very keen to keep this series going. We'll see if Durham can pull off another kick-off set piece.
And we'll see if they opt for a similar strategy. Not this time, but possession once again won. Zouch up quite quickly for this fantastic piece of defence from Mockingjay. He was on the wall, in the right place, at the right time, and again a fantastic clean-up save from Aspire.
Oh, and there's the demos. Looking for them. I think that's the first one this series, if I remember correctly.
Been very little aggression.
Well, to have some more.
Zouch shoves it into the middle, double commit from the back.
Double commit.
Triple.
Oh, and Mordisha! That's got to cost them, surely.
Oh, no. Oh.
Very nearly got back to that. I don't think he had any right to, but Padua did make more of that than they needed to.
2 men committing for that ball. Very open net indeed, and they completely bottled it. Aspire there to deal with it though, so he's going to have some high fives from his teammates. Back off kickoffs. Mockingjay looking to apply some pressure. Nothing to come from it though. Zouch alleviating himself. And you see all this space granted to the Blues just by Padua backing up that little bit too much. I feel the confidence is fading. That wasn't how they were performing in the first game.
Well, of course, Padua have scored first in every match so far, but it's not worked for them every time. They're level in the series, and I think Padua will be wanting a second goal in order to feel a bit more secure about how this game 3 is going. Mockingjay very nearly scored it in style, isn't it?
Active. Plays the ball to space, but ultimately it's just going to go straight back to the blue end. A poor touch from Mordicia. Triple commit. Once again, pretty shaky stuff. Mockingjay showing his stuff. His stuff wasn't that fantastic though. Possession lost. And we're back to another stalemate of just whacking the ball to each other. Not much coming from these attacks.
It seems to me that in every game these teams are taking a minute or two to warm up. Towards the end of last game, we were seeing great attacking play from both teams. We seem to have reset this cagey, hot potato style gameplay, just hammering the ball away and seeing who makes a mistake first. That's a good pass.
Oh.
And Zouch does an excellent flip there to make sure he contacts it first. 1-1.
Nobody there to challenge Mordicia. All the space granted he could ever desire. Luckily, Zouch pounces with that fantastic pre-flip, knocks it into the top corner. And it's a 1-1 game. We'll see how it goes from here. I've not got high expectations for either of these teams with the ways they're playing at the moment.
Well,
Hopefully.
one thing's for certain, either of these teams will have a much, much harder time going up against Warwick if they don't clean up. And one of them will be going up against Warwick, so they will have to play a bit better. Good save on the retreating defence from Mordisha.
Fantastic black block from Active there. Mockingjay with all the time in the world and uses it quite well. Booms the ball downfield to a ball we can follow up in.
Awkward for HT Champs, and Active
no.
manages to flop it through.
It's a fantastic 50 from Mockingjay against Zouch, but once again, it's shaky stuff on defence. Padua did very well to aggress on that loose ball, but Durham are going to be kicking themselves. It's a 2-1 game.
Yeah. I don't think either team will really feel particularly happy with their performances thus far, but I think it's fair to say that compared to our first match, both of these teams are certainly warming up as the series goes on. We need a bit more clinical finishing from both sides. That might be it. That's a great save from Zouch.
Closely delivered to the top corner, but it's whacked away from Durham. No issues there. Ooh.
Again on defence. Zouch getting tied up. And just knocking the ball out, Mordisha does well. Mordisha's doing a lot of the defense for Durham, which probably isn't where he or the rest of the team would want him to be.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that one man just to deliver all that pressure from defence to start that offence going forward, and that is the man you need in a game where no one has particular confidence in their own abilities to actually defend some of these balls, apply pressure, force the opponent's sleight of hand. Mockingjay doing well to deal with that. Ultimately no threat given by Durham.
Good touch from Mordisha to keep that away from the onrushing Padua player. There's lots of space, HT Champs chooses to go for the backboard.
In a rough spot. And again, the ball just floating in space.
Giving them time. Oh, gotta think Durham have got to be taking risks at some point. They can't just let this game fizzle out.
Oh, they have to. They have to at this point. They're a goal down. Padua have already taken a game. What they need more than ever is a bit of confidence going forward. They need to position themselves in areas where they can actually reach the ball first. At the moment, they're so tentative. Once again, a loose ball provided. Oh, come on. Oh, he doesn't. Oh,
Mockingjay slots it home. It's typical of this series. Something amazing looks like it's about to happen. But in the end, not quite.
I was waiting for the monster play. From the assist from Aspire, it almost came to fruition. But once again, Padua making the most of a loose ball, undefended from Durham. Oh, one final hurrah, not quite in. Ouch looking to aggress forward in his final play of the game. Flicks it across. And honestly, that final play of the game is what they needed throughout the rest of those 5 minutes. But sadly, nothing came about for the Durham side once more. And it's a 2-1 series in favour of Padua.
Yeah, Durham really got their backs against the wall now. Something needs to change. It's hard exactly to pinpoint what, because, like I've been saying, neither team playing to their full capacity. I think certainly just more general cohesion on offence. And, yeah, the confidence. It's like you were saying, Psycho, someone just needs to go for something. Because I think either team could really be ignited by a key play here.
Definitely. And on the side of Durham at the moment, that would be Mordisha. On the side of Padua, everyone's putting in their shift. It's very messy in those first 2 games. But that third game, some of the defensive mishaps went away. But saying that, 2 of the goals conceded by Durham were just loose balls in front of their own net, rolling at an incredibly low speed. And honestly, they're going to be kicking themselves for what they've not been able to do.
Yeah, it's been not the most stellar series, really, so far. I think it's fair to say neither team completely up to speed, but it's getting better as we go, and we'll get into this game 4 with Durham needing something to change. Whether they change their play style or just play with a bit more confidence remains to be seen.
Yeah, and it does make you wonder. The winner of this game is going to be playing Warwick, and they are one of the most solid defensive teams, arguably, in the whole of NSE. And if all of the goals being conceded at the moment are direct causes of defensive mishaps, both of these teams are going to struggle. Once again, a bit of shakiness on defence, as we were saying.
Yeah, quite frankly, if these teams turn up as they are to play Warwick, I don't see it going well for either of whoever makes that match.
It'll be slaughter. Good touch from Mordisha.
He gets the midfield boost. He's got time again. These are the kind of plays we want to see from Mordisha, and HT Champs cleans up 1-0 Durham.
Nice bit of flair from Mordisha. Wasn't the most beautifully executed masterpiece, but it did the trick. Beat the first man, beat the second man, nobody else to follow up. And from the blue end, they're going to make the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, Durham, that's the kind of play you want to see. You're right, it wasn't completely clean or perfectly executed, but like you say, it was enough, and they've got the lead. Now they just need to keep it.
Active, showing his own stuff as well.
Oh, that's an awkward one.
Oh, it's the worst nightmare for Durham at the moment. A loose ball. HT Champs doing well with it though.
Finally, excellent from the defenders.
Offense. Oh, great pass across.
And then the offense as well. Wow.
I'll tell you what, from Durham, that's probably the first clear-cut offensive opportunity that they've really deserved to score from. Nice infield pass from Mordicia. And it's very difficult for the defence to deal with that. No one expected Mordicia to be cutting inside when he was right next to a corner, where he could easily have opted to go up the wall.
I mean, that's the first clean transition from defence to offence that we've seen from the blue side in 3.5 games. And it's worked out very well for them, so let's hope they can keep that coming. 2 again. Works for Durham in a way that it only could work for Durham, I think it's fair to say, the way they've been getting these touches so far. Oh, Mordicia's feeling it now, you can see no one going for them in the previous games.
Durham looking confident in offence at the moment. Confidence so much to the extent they're double committing all over the place.
Yeah,
but
this is where the confidence catches them out.
That has to be a good thing when you consider that the previous games it's been nobody. So I'd always prefer 2 than 0 to be challenging a loose ball. Mordicia pinging it up. Good commit from HT Champs. Straight to Mockingjay though. Mordicia in a good place to deal with this. I'm glad to see he's taking a lot of time over these balls. He's beat the first man, he's beat the second man. He didn't create much opportunity, but he escaped the defensive zone.
Awkward for Zouch. He made it awkward for himself. Now, you're right in that it's better for 2 to be going than 1, but Durham going to be nervous holding this lead now. We might give a bit of a reversion to their old form. Let's hope they can continue, because I think for them, the offense is their best form of defense. They want to keep the ball as far away from their goal as possible. That's not doing it.
That's not very far. Zouch with a solid clear straight to Aspire. Mordicia can hopefully clean this up. No, he...
Oh, you say that.
Nope, he can't.
Oh.
It's a sad day at the office.
It really is.
I was watching his perspective and he was ever so close. He did actually get that tiny touch, but ultimately it is a misread at the end of the day, and there's not much you can do about that because the heat of the moment decision to attack that ball in the way he did was perfect. His positioning was perfect. His execution was pretty dreadful. And hopefully we can see Durham bounce back, create some opportunities of their own.
Yes, because I think it's worth remembering, us and them, that Durham aren't losing yet. This is now just 2-2. They don't need to do anything completely stupid. Now they might.
Yeah, they didn't need to, but they did. It's a tricky situation, granted. Zouch did a fantastic thing there to get some of that pressure, get a 50-50 on, but ultimately it was just panic.
Yeah, a bit of bad luck as well, really. Zouch did everything right, but it just didn't go in Durham's favour. Just sat down right in the middle of the box there. But still plenty of time left on the clock if Durham can recapture some of their magic from the first half of this game.
Yep. If you're a Durham supporter, you're going to be in pain at the moment. You know these boys are capable of so much more. They just have to escape their defense. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, honestly. Hopefully this
Mordicia's been caught out again. Free ball.
Oh no!
Oh, you have to be kidding me.
Once again, a loose ball high. Honestly, I think it's Badger's game plan at the moment. Boom the ball because you know the Blues have nothing to do in defence on value.
It's the 3rd time this game he's been caught not in the right place in goal, positioned sideways or backwards. And it's unfortunate for Durham. The ball's one step ahead of them at the moment when Padua are taking it, so there might be a chance that can get back to that, which he has, but it's off the post. Typifies the series for the blue side so far.
Oh, that opportunity really could have been converted. It just required some of extra time. He did well to get himself in that situation. He beat a few players.
Dear.
Oh, thank
Durham
goodness.
are looking at a fairly graceless exit from the EURC if they don't score twice in the next 50 seconds.
We have hope. I don't know if you can have bias on these sorts of streams, but I am rooting for Durham to come back from their travesties at the back. Well done by HT Champs.
the right idea. Actor did well to intercept. Again, just losing so much time off the clock.
One more.
That's going to seal it. Oh, Zouch does well. It might still be too little, too late.
Oh, goodness.
Zouch hit HT chance further than the ball.
Yeah. Double commits are better than having nobody commit, but when you're whacking your own teammate to the other side of the field, you have to question whether it's a good idea. Padua are going to take this game, and it's quite a disappointing exit for Durham. No, it's not. They've got 1 second. We have every faith in the kickoff goal. These routine kickoffs, maybe a back left, maybe a back right, maybe a crazy little musty fast kickoff, anything they can
Got
do.
to think from Durham. You're not going to risk trying to put it into a direction. You're just trying to get it into the middle and as high as you can. Have someone follow it in.
Well, GG.
Nothing doing. Durham, unfortunately, are, I would believe, the first confirmed team to be out of this season's EURC. Padua have a bit of a break now, as they're up against Warwick in this next round, and we'll be following them into that match. Warwick must be heartened, you have to think, by what they've seen so far.
Yeah, there was a lot of potential coming into those last few games for the Durham boys, because I could see what they were capable of. Well, this year in particular was fantastic at alleviating some of that pressure. Zouch had lots of 1 versus 1 opportunities where he slotted it past the first man, slotted it past the second man, sometimes even the third. And honestly, it was just their defence which was lacking, and Padua are going to take a relatively easy victory over a Durham which didn't quite perform to the standards we expected.
It's been a recurring theme. We saw them in the promotion match last week. It's not the best you've seen them play. Need to get better a bit under pressure, I think. It was a valiant showing. Durham were, of course, I think tipped by precisely nobody to even qualify for EURC, so must be said they did immensely well to even get this far.
Definitely.
But unfortunately, this is where the EURC road ends for them. We will be going to a very quick break, and when we get back, we will see the same Padua team, hopefully putting on a bit more of a show against Warwick. Don't go anywhere.
shadows causing an
welcome back to the EURC 2020 group stage lower bracket. This is now going to be Warwick A versus the Padua team we just saw dispatch Durham in 4 games. Now, Psycho, Padua may well have to step themselves up a notch if they want to take anything off this Warwick team. What do you reckon?
That's certainly the case. Warwick, by my standards, are the absolute bricks of the NSE, and I mean that in the absolute best possible way. They enjoy controlling the ball from the back and making those counter-attacks, controlling the ball, lots of flicks, lots of double touches. They're a bit fancy when they're solo playing upfield, but it all comes from the back because they're so comfortable in that position. You can sustain pressure in Warwick's end for pretty much the whole 5 minutes and still lose a game if you're not careful. And I think for Padua that's going to be a big deal indeed, because the last series we saw from them, they made plenty of defensive issues themselves that led to Durham squeezing a few games to their favour. But it is going to be a close series, I reckon, because Padua are the much more aggressive of the 2 teams, I would say.
Yeah, I think, defence was what we saw to be problematic in this last series between Durham and Padua. Both teams looking incredibly shaky. Warwick won't give anywhere near as much quarter, you don't think, to this Padua side. So maybe Padua will play up to it. You never know. Some teams, struggle to beat the lower ranked teams, but then really come through when it matters against top level players. So you'll have to see what happens here. Well, I think we're just about ready to get into game 1. So here we are, Warwick versus Padua. We'll have Warwick in the blue and Padua in the orange as we kick off this first match. It's still a best of 5 series. This time, the winner is going straight through to the round of 16 group stage.
It's an important game, obviously, for each team. You see, you can take control of this game first. Last series we watched, nobody took control, and that's why there was so much back and forth. Once again, teams just warming into each other at the moment, as we expect. Booming clear from Mocking. Nice bit of pressure coming from the Blues, and I'm not sure what happened to Aspire there, I'll be quite honest. It's a good touch. Walden slots it home. Not what you want to see for Padua, but it is what it is. 1 goal game. Alice the Cat Whisperer pushing this ball forward. Spire taking the most of his time that he's got given to him.
Warwick are looking the stronger of the 2 teams in this opening exchange. And they've got the goal to show for it now, so we'll have to see if they can keep this up again. Alice the Cat Whisperer, with horrible engine noise in tow, moves up the left side of this field. But Padua dealt with that one.
Yeah, and you can see just how well spaced this Warwick team is at the moment, and that is going to be a concern for Padua, because obviously this defence is going to be very difficult to break down. As Active trying to squeeze something past them. Almost something made from it.
But you've got to say it's looking like a much more clinical unit in the blue this time. Warwick definitely know what they're doing. The defence is strong, it's confident.
Oh,
that's a good pass to Active, but defence stands strong. Alice clears it away from goal.
That shows just how easy it can be to make the most of a bad situation. That ball was coming flying top corner. Alice was positioned well at the back post, and it was such an easy save from that position. And that's what's important. Oh dear.
Puts Warwick 2-0 up. Now this blue team are looking to be very much in control in the first game of the series.
Yeah, there's a potent shot from Gopher, but upsettingly, I just witnessed a double whiff coming out from Padua.
I wasn't going to mention it.
Hopefully, well, it depends who you're supporting really, but hopefully that's not a repeated issue.
It's not something you want to see just as a neutral observer, really. The kind of stuff that made the first series not the most entertaining to watch. A lot of goals just trickling in rather than flying by. This Warwick team hopefully bring a bit more fireworks to this series that we've got here. Of course, with a place in the Group 16 stage on the line, got to think both teams will be going for it a little bit more than the cagey affair we saw in the first series. Now there's something to win rather than everything to lose.
Definitely. Go for trying to shuffle the ball across the field. Once again, some good positioning from Alice. Something you can expect to see. Lots of space gifted to Walden right here, and this is where he can tell. Beats the first man. Second man with a poor clear. And suddenly there's going to be a lot of pressure on this orange half, so you better watch out.
Oh, and there's the defensive shudders from Padua that we've seen before. And, as we predicted, Warwick aren't going to let that slide. 3-0.
It pains me to watch active there. Just a flip in the right direction, and that's a goal saved. But 3-0 to Warwick. And honestly, all three of those goals have been unforced errors. Possibly one of them was worked well through Warwick, but honestly, it's just a poor defensive showcase again. We're going to have to see what Padua do to claw back, if they claw back at all.
Yeah, it's not looking likely, but they have, I think it's fair to say, improved somewhat on their game showing. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. Aspire narrows the gap to 2.
It's a monster play from Aspire, even though it's EURC. He rewarded any monster for it. He's done very, very well indeed to catch up on that ball. I think it's the first time we've seen a ball which wasn't entirely defendable for Warwick. There definitely was something they could have done about it, but it's a fantastic play.
Well, it's certainly not out of Padua's reach if they can pull off another couple of good offensive drives in the minute and 8 seconds we've got left.
Over to the middle. Lots of infield passes coming in from the
That's a good
now.
pass. Actor tries to put it back, but Aspire already moved too close. Oh, Walden's got that. Leveraging the length of that reveal to almost force an own goal out of Padua, but they get away with it this time. Warwick are just keeping it in this corner. They realise time is on their side, and so is the lack of a goalkeeper. That'll seal game 1 for 1 to Warwick.
Yeah, I think it's important for Aspire to realise here that whenever you're a last man and there's a bit of uncertainty as to whether your team is going to come out on top, the worst thing you can do is just assume the best and turn around. Now, it may be 3-1 down to them, but that was never a ball he was going to be reaching with an aggressive turn. A bit more solidity needed from Padua again.
Yeah.
What else can we say?
Well, I mean, it's, be easy in that situation, I think, to be a bit harsh with Padua. They are 2 goals down, time running out. Something needs to give. In situations like these, you often see a team make a win look much more convincing than it is by scoring extra goals in garbage time. Although, Padua have got 1 back. Seems very unlikely they'll get 2. Just drawing out the end of this game 1, but some good momentum to take into the second game.
It's a nice little consolation goal for Padua and a nice consolation whiff for Alice, who's been solid all game.
Not what you want to see from the blue side, nor is that. That's a very awkward touch, but I think it'll be fine. Time ticks down to 1 second. You're not going to score 2, and that's going to be game 1 to the Warwick A.
Relatively one-sided game that one was. Warwick dominating out of defence. And that's all you can say, really. Lots of balls flung about in the orange half, and the mistakes have just been entirely unforced for the most part. We had a glimmer of hope from Aspire. Fantastic.
He's done very well if you look at the scoreboard here to be carrying this Padua team, but it's not quite enough in this first game. But I think it is fair to say, Psycho, they look better. It's an improvement on the first series, even if it's not quite enough at this stage to take down this Warwick side.
I think it is, yeah. Naturally, when you're playing stronger teams, you as a team also step up and become a stronger unit as a 3, because if the other team is completely spaced out and there's no complete cluttering of players positionally, then naturally you'll take on a similar style of play. And I think Padua are adapting pretty well to Warwick. The only thing they can't adapt to is the lack of competence in their own defence at the moment.
Yeah.
Bits of shakiness.
But I think it's very good to mention that, as you just said, bad play at this level often breeds more bad play. You see whiffs coming out from a team that you don't expect, and then you're out of position, and you're then making bad touches that you weren't expecting to have to make at all. I think we did see a fair amount of that in our first series, where both teams were just expecting too much and respecting the other team too much. And it made the play seem much more disjointed than perhaps it could have been had either team been playing up. And now that Warwick are playing a much more solid game, it might be forcing Padua to be in the right place and make the right touch.
I'm just watching Aspire there, up on the offense. He was positioned so far up as a last. Again, the reason the goal came about in the last game. It's a fantastic play from Warwick, but once again, it is a ball that can be dealt with. If that back post position was held instead of that dive across net, maybe he could have clawed that one away. Warwick 1-0 up.
Yeah, it's commanding again. Early lead taken twice by the boys in blue. And this could be good. Oof, just blocked off there.
And I fear at the moment that the only sort of offensive opportunities coming to Padua are solo plays, and typically from Aspire. So they need to try and work it out between them.
Oof, that had no right to get anywhere near the goal.
I'm fearful Gopher's going to keep this pressure up. Loose ball in front of their net. To commit.
Friendly boost.
Touch cross from Gopher. Once again cleared up. There's lots of space for the Blues.
On the whole, a much more relaxing watch this series. You don't start to feel panicked on behalf of either team when the ball ends up in their half. It's been more competent on both sides. I think Padua could rely a little less on Aspire. He certainly put up the most game events in that first game, and he's getting the closest again in this second one. No Mockingjay.
It was close. It was close, and it was what we wanted to see from them. Bit more vigour in the offence, not just whacking the ball and hoping, not just Aspire trying double touches, but actually an infield pass from the corner, and it almost undid. That's a word. The defence.
It did, and then it did. Warwick, I'm done. 1-1.
Well put. A fantastic dunk from Active. Good bits of aggression. Not Active, rather. Aspire. Active to follow. So 1-1 game. Good bits of pressure. Coming from Padua now. We'll see if they can maintain that. And they have off kickoff.
Won't take that. Not going to be very good for them though. This is cleared a very long way by Padua. Stuck in the corner, tried to push out, but quite enough. Warwick going to be able to take the lead in this series. Alice takes it into the corner, but neither team having much luck on their corners. Something might have to change.
Bit of aggression. Walden almost hits that double touch. It would have been a right mess for Aspire, who was mispositioned in his own net. Walden happy to clear this one up. He's got oodles of space. Infield pass, dribble, he can do it all.
No one there.
I don't think that was the right option for Walden. He didn't really have anyone by his side. It was a decent attempt at an infield pass, but sometimes...
Oh, the net! Padua flirting with danger there. If Gopher had got any more power on that shot, I think it would have slipped by both of the defenders.
Quite possibly. Aspire knew what he was doing there. Baiting a shot in. He didn't want to rush to net too quickly. He wanted possession to be lost straight to him, and that it did. Blues looking to transition now. It's a good touch from Mockingjay. Someone needs to clear this up. There we go. Go for inbound. I think we're going to have a bit of pinball, but if demos are flying in, Opens up a bit more space.
Here we go. It's the kind of physical play that I think either team could have made use of in that first series. Padua really heating it up now, but that's a big miss, and Alice is off on this one. Mockingjay does well to buy his team some time. Still not completely cleared, and Padua making a bit of a meal of it. Nothing we haven't seen before. That's a great touch from Aspire. Oh.
Alice with a demo.
And an open net to aim at.
Not quite open.
Clears out Active's fantastic save.
It's well lunged to. Active finally in a decent position on defense. What's he going to do?
One. I'll go for missed. Padua take a very surprising and very late lead in this game.
Oh. He drags out Walden. Gopher can't get in a good position in a good amount of time. And that ball's easily followed up for Padua. 2-1 to them. And honestly, this is looking quite impressive from them now. There's a lot of individual efforts being made to beat that first man, whether it be in the form of a double touch or a simple flick, or just
the defense that gets them. Mockingjay really heating up on the backside of the ball, though. That's much better from Padua. 10 seconds to go. Can they hold out and level up the series?
We'd hope so. It'd make for some interesting viewing. Alice has to deal with this well. Done exactly that.
Big pause.
Oh.
Oh, it's not down yet. Now, this would make for some interesting viewing. Can Warwick get the full court carry? No. Just as I say it, the ball touches the ground, and Padua take a surprising but actually well-deserved game 2.
All credit to them, actually, yeah. As I said, lots of individual efforts converted into followed-up touches. And I'll tell you what, most of these goals that are finally going in are being assisted just as a result of that first man pressure, which is forcing the hand of the opposition. And these balls that are flying in are ultimately quite easy balls. You will have to worry for Warwick though, because they're not a naturally aggressive team. And playing from the back is their strength, and if they're getting met by solo plays constantly, it's going to be quite difficult for them to break out of defence, I reckon, especially with the newfound aggression from the first men in Padua. So this could make for an interesting game number 2.
Well, it's, I think it's a good offence going against a good defence, and then a quiet offence, not really testing what we've seen so far to be a relatively shaky defence. And I think, yeah, like you say, if Warwick can get some more offensive pressure going, they should have this in the bag. But that said,
Padua looked, again, more like Durham. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done in this game too. Didn't make any huge errors on the defensive side of the ball. And as we go into this game 3, I think it's fair to say that it's anyone's game.
Yeah. Place your bets, people. Don't place your bets. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that, but we should be in for a close game as we wait for the players to jump in. Maybe a car switch, something to freshen the mind a bit. We'll see you.
Alice hasn't got rid of the engine noise. Everyone watching will be thrilled to know. We will still be listening to screaming cats as we enter this game 3. That's an awkward start for Padua. We're not sure quite what happened there.
It's clumsy off kickoff at the back. Padua trying to break out at the moment. Aspire once again with that solo play, finally well met.
With the power.
Good use of that space from Alice, but honestly, that ball needed to be released a bit quicker as soon as that first touch was made.
Ooh. Caught everyone off guard, I think, watching and playing, but that one snuck in from Aspire. It's a great angle with the air roll shot, but
it's a fantastic angle. Sadly, Gopher and Walden both caught up in exactly the same position, carrying out exactly the same role as a result of trying to push forward and pressure. And honestly, as much as it was a good bit of placement, it shouldn't have been a goal conceded for Warwick. They're going to be pretty disappointed. I think this is an open net. Oh,
open enough.
Rattle it home. No vigour on the shot.
This Padua team are really heating up. I would not want to be on the blue side of this ball right now. Although that's a brilliant clear from Gopher. Barrier backboard reads, not up to scratch.
Oh.
Walden!
Oh, no.
It was worthy of a goal, but perhaps not like that from Walden. Off the inside of the post. Mockingjay in the unfortunate position. With a brilliant Doomsy Dish backboard read, but not quite the way you'd want to score one if you're on the orange side. 1-1.
Yeah, that's going to be demoralising. Padua's having a good start to this game, and Mockingjay's the job done himself. Admittedly, a good shot from Walden initially, but it's never going to be enough, considering it hit the post until a certain someone came along.
Oh, again! Warwick flirting with danger on defence. This defensive shakiness seems to be catching. Either team again looking perfectly solid. Active uses a lot of boost to get to that and really doesn't do very much to it. That's a slow Padua down, but that's a great dunk from Mockingjay. Now goes. Big miss from Alice. This game's running the risk of disintegrating a bit. Both teams need to reset, have a bit of a think, take it easy.
Definitely. It's been quite interesting watching Warwick's approach to some of the clears made from the side.
Bio
Very
will
close.
cry himself to sleep about that one.
Oh, that might be
was an
flying home.
Amazing redirect.
It does. Active
Plus.
makes it too. We'll have to see what happened on defence here. I didn't really catch it. Oh, Alice is a bit too far forward. Walden in the corner, maybe grabbing some boost.
Walden in the corner respawning after being unceremoniously
Oh, right.
bumped off by a Padua player. Unfortunately, just not quite quick enough.
In which case, blame falls on Alice, sadly. A little bit too aggressive on defence. That's not something Warwick are known for. As I was beginning to say earlier, it's interesting to watch Warwick's reactions to some of the clearances come from the Padua team, because they hold back and just wait for the ball to come to them. There's no sort of commitments on loose balls that are unnecessary. They are just happy to let possession be transferred to them, essentially for free.
Oh, well, there's a demo there, but no one following up on Gopher's touch, so just a free-for-all in the middle of the park at the moment. That's an awful touch. Active really flirting with danger there. Nearly just bumped that into the end of his own net. Free off the backboard. Walden.
Oh no.
Accuracy issues plaguing both sides here.
Double commit from Padua.
And a consistent one as well, and that's going to cost them, is it? Off the crossbar again. Walden's not getting anything on that. Probably could have just left that for Gopher, but as it was, he's slowed it down and let a Padua player get back into the block. Now Aspire, we're looking for the connection touch, not quite enough. Gopher clears. Warwick, time starting to run out for them. They might need something fairly soon. Alice takes it down. Can he get this round? Walton's waiting in the middle. Not anymore. Very good play from Alice, but again, all of the good plays we've seen so far today have come as a surprise to everyone on the pitch, which means they're very hard to capitalise on. Walden again. Oh, and he manages to get it in. Warwick, I think it's fair to say, getting a little bit lucky. Good passing plays, but that is twice now that they've hit a shot off the post that's then enabled them to score.
Certainly. It's a good initial shot once again from Walden. Really good at dragging out these defenders and potentially just getting straight up goals off of his good accuracy with shots. But sadly, that's probably the second time this game we've just seen Padua break down on defence a bit. I was watching Aspire's perspective, and he did make that pre-jump just after the initial shot was drawn.
Yeah. Oh, that's not how it wants to be for Padua. Alice puts Warwick 3-2 up on a huge miss off the wall from Active.
A huge miss from Active met by defensive, how should we put it, mishaps. From Padua, the last man, just edged too far forward. It's as simple as that, really. Open net, bish bash bosh. Warwick, 3-2 up.
Must be
said that both teams are looking much better. The mistakes are still coming out from time to time, but there's also the confidence, and these players are looking much more at ease on the ball. That's probably a bit too much at ease on the ball for Aspire, who left that straight for Walden.
Padua just trying to relieve some offense at the moment. Immediately met by Warwick's very defensive stance. All those players staying as far back as need be to receive a clear. And that is what you like to see from a Warwick team, because that is their absolute strength that everyone is so worried about. Are they going to claim
Yeah, and it's 1-1 that game. They run the clock down, 3-2 on the match and 2-1 on the series. Warwick looking much more solid.
Some of the Padua boys at the moment asking for a server change. I'm assuming we can cater for that.
That's definitely going to happen. We will take a slightly longer break in between these two matches. Psycho, what do you think Padua have to change, aside from the server, in order to try and get back into this series?
At the moment, there's still a bit of panic at the back. We've
There
said
is.
that way too often. But just as simple as when a ball is coming in favour of Warwick and they have a good shooting opportunity, some of these Padua players are just panicking out of their skin. I remember watching Aspire in hope that he could just stay planted whilst the ball flew straight over his head, and he didn't. He just dove for it straight away. 2 men committed, open net. I think that happened twice that game. And honestly, I think for Padua, it's gonna be heartbreaking, because they're gonna think, wow, I couldn't deal with that ball. That was impossible. But just with a bit of patience and a bit of defensive positioning of meaning, they could transform this series.
Yeah, I think, there's not a formality yet. Obviously, Padua took the second game, and if they can play like they did then in this fourth game, I think they could tie it up and take us all the way. But something will have to change, because that Warwick team, particularly in the second half of game number 3, looked like they had everything almost completely under wraps.
Kicking it off then. Walden versus Aspire on kickoff. Alice trying to edge his way forward. Fantastic pass.
Great play! That's the best
more
play we've
like
seen all day.
That's more like it. It is, honestly. Aspire's double touch was pretty nice, but you cannot beat 2 consecutive infield passes. Walden was left stranded. I think he was positioned right at the back post there. It's just that shot came in with such vigour and precision. He had nothing to do with it. The only thing that was required was a bit of offence to block those infield passes, but it's so difficult to do. All credit to Padua, and they're 1-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 9th game we've had on stream so far, and that is really the first passing play we've seen. We've seen centre balls be converted, but nothing much fancier than that. And if Padua can keep that up, I think they might have a chance.
Quite possibly.
And if Walden can keep that up, Padua will definitely have a chance.
Good transition play though. Oh, that's just mean. Aspire's absolutely rinsed his own teammate, but he's going forward with style. Once again, he's rinsed his own teammate. What's he doing?
Oh dear. Communication from Padua falling apart. Not as fast as the Warwick defence. 2-0.
Oh, I'm not quite sure how Aspire's managed to score off the back of 2 terrible plays. But he slotted it home. All credit to him. Nobody left in net.
And it could be the kind of thing that we saw in the first series, well, perhaps not expecting such subpar play. Warwick get 1 back from Walden. This is, not quite the calibre that you've seen in previous games in the series.
That was unfortunate, honestly. It was a fantastic
not
kick.
much you can do.
There's nothing they could have done there. The man following up on the half of Warwick was far more catered to the ball rolling at 2 miles per hour backwards towards their own half. Obviously, he could get there first. It's just a bit of a freebie, really. There's no criticisms you can give. Those things happen even in the absolute heights of play. It's a good shot.
These things should not. Aspire finds another empty net. Walden was bumped, but he would not have made it back anyway, I don't think. It was way too far out there.
Yeah, regardless of that bump, he was pushing his luck by pushing forwards an inch further than was needed. Well, more than an inch, possibly a mile.
It's not too glamorous from either side at the moment, but Padua is certainly warming up, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've said that today.
Well, no, they haven't managed to stay warm for that long, but I think 2 goals up, that's obviously all they'll need. They just need to now tighten up on defence and keep it that way.
Definitely. Well fought defence from Warwick at the moment. Again, good positioning in defence. Well, I say again, the last few opportunities have been granted by a lack of it.
Like that.
Ah, it's rough.
It is. It's
That is
only less rough than Durham because I don't sub for Warwick 80. But it's still rough to watch as a fan of British Rocket League and Rocket League in general to see defensive mistakes like that lead to so many goals. Just isn't very satisfying. 4-1 Padua, they must wrap up this game 4.
They have to. 2 minutes 50 left. They're going to have to absolutely throw this game. If they're
That's
going to
a long
concede
time,
any
and we've had 5 goals already. To get 3 more beyond reason, but Warwick are going to have to change something.
Going to have to change quite a lot of things, I reckon. The controller's all been in the, well, in favour of Padua in the orange half.
Would have been the final nail in the coffin, but Warwick granted a reprieve. Gopher's got time. Not as much time as he thought he had, or as I thought he had.
Interesting doink. I wouldn't have opted for that myself, but it's rolled nicely
Dangerous,
to
but there was
Mockingjay.
no Warwick player.
Exactly, there was no Warwick player there to deal with that interesting doink, and thus the ball flies straight back to the other end. But Alice looking to make some opportunities, Walden to follow. Oh, it's a pretty pathetic clear from Mockingjay. Aspire in a great position though to do something about it. Walden with a read.
Oh, fantastic shot.
You could see it coming a mile away. Walden's good at these. He's very good at booming the ball initially.
That's a Batmobile trait.
And he's very, very good at following his own touches.
That ball bounced off the inside ramp of the post on its way in. That was an amazingly precise shot because I don't think he could do that again if he tried. But he won't be complaining. 4-2. Warwick not quite back in it yet, but certainly more in it than they were. And 100 seconds, plenty of time to get 2. Especially if Padua are going to commit like that.
Well, it's a difficult uphill battle for Warwick at the moment.
Especially if they're going to commit like that.
Yeah, I mean, these double commits are absolutely fine though, because there's no pressure coming from Padua. They're a bit tentative now.
Oh, here we
You
go.
can see just how far back the players are.
To
Again,
get back.
a needed double commit from Axiv there. He actually noticed his teammate was in danger, so he swept up.
Alice looked for the back post, and that would have been completely undefended if it was on target. Very close from Warwick. Final minute now. Getting into crunch time for the boys in blue. Walden backflips. Active might get back to this. That's a great touch. No one pushing up, but then if you're playing for Padua, you don't really need to be pushing up because...
Oh, that was almost beautiful. Active didn't need to stay there, but he did, and he almost made that pretty much impossible read off the side. Possession in favour of Warwick. Gopher to the middle. Should be a relatively open net. Chance unconverted for Warwick. They're going to be kicking themselves, Walden in particular. I've got every faith in the return of Warwick's form in the next game.
That is very faithful of you, Psycho, because based on what I'm seeing, I'm not at all sure that this game 5 is going to go in favour of this Warwick side. Not going to score 2 in 1 second. They might get a snazzy play to finish it off. Go from not quite there quickly enough. Now, it's going to come down to a... When it eventually does come down, it's going to come down to a game 5 between these two teams for a spot in final 16 of this season's EURC.
An interesting game that. Not so many highlight moments for either side. Maybe apart from Walden's nice little double touch, if you can call it that. Blasting the ball against the corner, reading it nicely, glancing it in off the post. That was possibly the only goal which was very difficult to defend. Lots of open nets once again granted. Actually, to Warwick, actually. Mockingjay, I remember being a bit too far pushed up as that last man. Open net. Padua have taken it quite convincingly once again, though. So,
especially if you consider how Warwick scored their first goal. You know, Walden's second one was good, but perhaps could have done better at near post defence from the orange side. But their first goal was just, you know, a kick-off goal, which is not something you can count on consistently to help you win these games. So, have to get some more sort of concerted offensive pushes together. Because Padua, despite their offensive prowess in these past few games, still aren't looking like the best defensive unit in Europe at the moment. So we'll see what happens in this crucial game 5.
yeah,
It's been back and forth. You couldn't really ask for much more as a neutral observer, but it's going to be nail-biting for fans of either team going into this final game, and we're going to get straight into it. Both teams looking very eager to start this final match.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I think we're going to have to go back to the old RLCS Season 1, Season 2 philosophy of the team who makes the least mistakes is going to come home with a dub.
Yep, that was a good play.
I take that back, honestly. That's the first really well-intended infield pass we've seen, which has worked out magically. No pressure provided from Padua. All 3 men facing their own net. And it's a very easy, convincing goal in the first 9 seconds for Warwick.
Yeah, and Alice has redeemed his engine noise slightly by having the nice goal explosion, but there's a nice goal explosion from Padua as Alice completely misses the defensive read.
Yeah, I thought for a second Walden was going to dive for that. I think he had faith in his man behind him. Sadly, no connection from Alice. I'm back to 1-1. Hopefully no more massive mistakes.
Yeah, faith in the man behind you has been a dangerous thing to keep a hold of in both the series we've seen so far. Mike, you're right. I think it may well come down to who just makes the crucial defensive mistouch. Active goes straight for the net, which shows you how little confidence they have in the Warwick defence, and they're pretty right as Mockingjay swoops in for the clean-up. 3 goals in just under 40 seconds.
Walden well positioned, but he had every opportunity to play it to the left-hand side, to play it to the right-hand side, wherever there was space, wherever there was an orange man lurking, follow-up. And he opted to poke it straight down in the middle, quite gracefully, to a follow-up touch. And once again, it's another mistake, pretty crucial mistake actually, because I know that's going to be demotivating for the Warwick team, and they're going to really need to provide some offence if they have any hopes of clawing this one back.
Yeah, both teams I think being a bit nervous, getting some jitters in this game 5. There's a lot on the line, of course. But someone's going to have to settle down and get shots like that. That would have been an absolute game changer in more ways than one for the Warwick team. Bounced up nicely. Mockingjay's going to be there. No, he isn't. Oh dear. Is all you can say.
It's a bit of a freebie, isn't it? The ball absolutely ramps up. Mockingjay just caught out with very low boost and a very bad read off the wall. And honestly, that's as free as it gets for Warwick. I said they needed some offensive intensity possibly to claw this one back, but nope. They just need another open goal and another mistake from Padua.
Neither team thrilling with their defensive capabilities so far, but you know, there's plenty of goals, so that's exciting in one way. We'd like to see some goals like Warwick's first rather than like most of the rest.
Some good infield pass from Mockingjay, no connection to follow. Double commit, necessary double commit however, as proven by that touch. Aspire to the other side. It's going to be a difficult last 3 minutes for each side here.
Especially if you're making touches like that. That's a very clever idea from Active, but Padua team who's not quite on the same wavelength. Good demo. Walden does well, comes in from behind the rotation just to buy his teammates time, and he got back to it.
Oh no!
Free shot! Be it not how he'd expected to have it, but still. Got to be putting that at least on target.
It could have been on target, and it could have been a lot more demanding of a shot than it was. Nevertheless, Warwick are going to have to reset their offense here. Walden beating the first man, almost gets the bump on the second. He's incredibly good at following his own hits, beating players. That's what you need for a team with relatively defensively minded players such as Alice and Gopher. Once again, we can see him edging up. Beats the first man, not the second one.
Gopher does well to stuff that as the pinch clear fails to come out from Padua, but he's now very minimal boost, although it won't matter. 3-2 Warwick again. More defensive blunder than offensive prowess.
It's a difficult one to read for Padua, given Gopher's difficult touch against the curve of the wall. Honestly, though, you would expect at this level these players can deal with those sorts of bounces, and I don't think we've seen anyone do it today. Earlier, it was a case of Alice whiffing a similar scenario, so we have to say it's an issue plaguing both teams. And it's 3-2 to Warwick.
Yeah, happily for, whichever of these teams ends up on top, they won't play again tonight, so they can just move on and forget about it. It's not like in the first series where we were saying these teams would have to, ironically in the first series we were saying, whoever won had to clean themselves up to play Warwick, and it's not really proven to be the case, because it's only a barely noticeable difference in Padua's defensive play. The offense has been much better.
Yep. And sadly,
again,
Warwick driving the ball forward. Walden gets a solid touch on it. Alice to follow. No follow up on that though. Oh, it's a decent shot on target.
It's a good thing these teams will have a week to work on this, because based on my best reading, as Spire puts one in.
Right, how intentional this was, I'm very unsure. It wasn't an incredible play from Mockingjay there. He just sort of drove the ball into the Blues, and then the Blues sort of drove the ball back into the Oranges. And it just sort of rolls in the corner. It's quite a depressing way to concede.
Indeed it is. And, as I was about to say, now whoever manages to take this in the last 20 odd seconds, plus however much longer if they need it, looks like they'll be facing Berlin in the first round of next week's group of 16, so you don't want anything like that from Gopher if you're up against the Berlin Phoenix, put it that way. This is, oh my goodness, not particularly good from either side. Alice could have let that drop, but I think it will drop anyway. Maybe not. Padua looking for it. Oh my, can you imagine?
That would have been what dreams are made of. 0-second finish, nothing gets you more hyped up than that, especially in a series that you've potentially underperformed. We don't know how Padua play usually.
Oh! That is just the epitome of this series. That had to be the way it ended. Alice falls out the sky with, I think it's fair to say, about zero intention of hitting that again. And Padua are going to feel pretty bad about that one. Warwick take the series 3-2, and we'll see them next week in the Group 16 stage.
Well, there's no such thing, in my mind, as an undeserved series win. A win is a win. They had their strengths, that's what Warwick will say, and you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Padua's defence was shocking, but obviously the errors had to be forced in some cases for those balls to be flying home.
Well, they weren't the only ones making errors, it has to be said.
Oh yeah, it was craziness from both ends really. They're going to, I highly suggest they go back and look at some of those replays just to identify the ins and outs of what happened. I'm sure I would say 75 to 80% of the goals conceded in this series were preventable for either side. And it's a difficult win for Warwick, but they've clawed it home. Be proud, An
Be proud and
NSC
be
team
ready for
is-
what's going to be a tough match against the Berlin Phoenix next week. But of course, they'll be back in the upper bracket, so it won't be a last life match like this one was. Maybe that'll make all the difference. Some teams do really crack under the pressure, so when there's no expectation, you might find Warwick show up. We'll have to see, and we'll be going to a short break before our next series, in which Geordie and Psycho
Ooh.
are taking you through our match where Staffs face off against Burn. So don't go anywhere. Thank you for having me, Psycho, and
Thank you.
good luck with the rest of the series. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you again.
shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light, we're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light, we're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on. Open your eyes and see the people chanting, slowly falling apart. The silence causing an earthquake. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling higher, and I know I can be taller. Shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light, we're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light, we're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the round 3 of the losers bracket. For a change, I'm actually joined by Geordie Unknown himself this time. We'll be watching Staffordshire Stampede versus Burnmasters. Only one of the teams we've seen before on stream, I reckon. Staffordshire Stampede, known to be a pretty strong side in the UK. Burnmasters we're yet to see much of. I know Hell, who's playing on the side of Burnmasters, is a gamers-ready coach himself. So it should be an interesting matchup between these two teams and relatively close, I would imagine. What do you think about this matchup, Geordie?
I personally don't know anything about Burn. Like you said, you're the only one who knew Hell. On the side of Staffordshire, I know that they're a fairly decent and consistent roster. I don't think they have a standout player across them, but I think they're like good as a general team. So I'd be interested to see how this plays out. Do you reckon we're ready to get the teams in now?
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's kick this one off then. We got Staffordshire in the blue and Burnmasters in the orange. This Staffordshire team, I think, has been around for a while now. Jackson, I know, is a player who's always floated around the competitive scene. Lots of bubble tournaments such as the ECC in the past, and they're pretty good performers in the National League.
Yeah, we see Jackson go for a little hit there. Gets a bit of a bad touch. Wes looking to touch this into the middle. Now getting a pass maybe. Loza puts it onto the backboard. Drops down. Mac puts a nice little clearance out, but Wes will intercept it. Loza looking to get a little bit of a touch. About to the side. Mac putting it straight back. Getting a bit of good offensive pressure coming out from Burn at the moment.
Yeah, these teams just warming into each other, and it's already looking faster play than the previous series we've played, which is good to see. The last few series have been a little bit lackluster in terms of defense, and the opportunities going forward haven't looked too promising. Nice little demo coming out from Loza. Jackson trying to carry it over everyone. Wes sneaks one home. It's a well-worked play for the Blues. The Staff are 1-0 up.
Yeah, nice little play there from Staffs. Good demo coming out there, and just a simple tap it.
Okay, we'll see who can adjust to the remaining 4 minutes of this game. So we see a pretty neutral kickoff. Shortly after, in favour of Staffordshire. Mac making his own plays. Doesn't quite beat the last man. And Hell just trying to drive the ball forward. Make some opportunities for himself. Last man demoed again. I like the Staffordshire offence.
And then another open net.
Oh, things you love to see. This is so much more promising than the previous series. What a fantastic demo. Coming out from Jackson. Wes sneaks it home.
Yeah, Staff's very much taking control of this series already. We'll be interested to see what Burn do from here.
Yeah, no real control from the Oranges yet. No offensive plays with much vigor coming forward. Make it 3, maybe not. Loza coming forward. Wes on the other end to sustain some of the pressure. It's not looking too good for Burnmasters just yet.
Nice little passing play coming out there from Staffs. Almost getting it through all of members of Burn. Good clear there coming out from Burn. Loza puts it up the field, getting the possession away, but still a decent clearance. Once again, a clearance into the exact same spot there.
Mac does well to follow up on that initial touch, but so back and forth at the moment. Hopefully we can see one team break out, get some opportunities, but for now I think both teams are pretty comfortable just to whack the ball and hope their opponents make mistakes, but I'm not sure that's the way to go for the Burnmasters, who are 2-0 down at the moment.
Yeah, already looking at this game now, how do you think the series is going to play out?
I mean, at the moment, it's clearly in favour of Staffordshire. All the opportunities have been generated by them. Another demo from Staffordshire. They're a pretty aggressive team, you know, in terms of that man rotating out. He's not necessarily always going back. There's constant demo threats and pass potential and solo plays, such as the air dribble earlier. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, Staff's definitely the more aggressive side here. Getting another shot on net. Mac puts it out to the side. Wes just whiffing the ball there. Jackson will look to clear it out, but back with a good dunk. Loza hits it out to the side. Nice little pass to Jackson there. However, it does go straight back into the middle to Burn.
Bit of shoddiness in the blue end by the front post. Two men whacking each other. An unnecessary high five. Pressure remains in the blue half at the moment, concerningly for Staffordshire, but nothing much to come from it. Mako getting bumped once again by that man rotating out. Pressure just being transferred.
Yeah, Staffordshire always getting some decent clears out, and the Burn are just putting straight back at them, but it just always comes straight back out. The defense seems to be pretty good on the Staffs right now. They're not really making any massive mistakes, although that was quite dangerous there, going into the middle to hell there. Jackson will look to tap that out to the side. Nice little pass to Loza, but Loza can't quite connect with it.
Straight back into the middle from Wes though. That wasn't what he needed to do. Nobody there to sweep up, luckily enough for Staffordshire, but that infield pass really was just a gift to the other team. You're going to have to be careful because they don't need to score, they just need to stay solid at the moment. The pressure's still being pounded on.
There's already a 2-0 lead with only 35 seconds to go. It's looking quite comfortable for Staffs here. They just need to try and keep that clean sheet and go well into the next game.
Yeah. Fantastic clear from Mac. Nicely followed by Paella. He's doing some flip resetty stuff and not actually contacting any. An insane back pass, completely unintentional. Could have worked out though. As finally, Burnmasters get their first goal.
Yeah, it seemed to be an interesting goal. Loza, don't know what quite he was doing there, and maybe expecting there was another teammate on the line, but it just didn't happen. There is a slither of hope for Burn here with 11 seconds to go. We'll see what happens.
One good bit of kick-off possession will do them nicely. Hell into the middle. Oh, 2 whiffs consecutively, expecting a touch. Nicely put back in by Mac. The Mac man drops it down, and that game 2-1 to Staffs.
Yeah, definitely a big game for Staffs there. Very controlling. Burn didn't really seem like they were attacking at all. As you can see, only 2 shots coming out there, and 2 of the Staffs getting a save each. 7 shots coming out from Staffs. They were definitely the more aggressive side. Burn, they're just not looking like they can win this series so far. They're going to need to definitely change something up going into the second game. Not sure quite what, but they're definitely letting Staffs bully them and get all these demos on them. They might need to try and change something back there. What do you think?
Well, Staff still have taken this game quite convincingly, even with a lack of completely controlled offensive plays in terms of making those passes in the middle or just drilling shots home. A lot of their opportunities have came off of offensive rotations from the man who's just followed up on the ball, going for demos and the likes. It's actually opened up 2 clear-cut opportunities for Staffordshire to excel with and slot one home. So it's going to be interesting to see if Burn can adapt to this at all. Possibly not, but Burnmasters definitely are going to have to start generating some of their own offensive opportunities that really come into fruition.
Yeah, we want to see Burn test that Staff's defence. They've tested it a little bit, but not quite much at all. I don't know if it's just because Staffs are having the possession all the time. It's a nice little double touch, and it's dropped straight down to Wes. Nice tap in there. Jackson with a lovely little air dribble, taking it past all 3 defenders, and Wes just tapping it in beautifully there.
Oh, Jackson is going to be chuffed about that one. Beautifully controlled. Around the first man, around the second man, third man, dropped down. Free goal. And that is something that you love to see. We're going to have to see.
TJ would be proud.
He would be indeed. Mac trying to apply some pressure on Jackson here. Slow to the ball though. Do with a bit more aggression when you're 1-0 down, even if so much time remaining.
Decent clear out from Loza. Notice Loza has been getting a lot of these upfield clears.
Decent clears, yeah.
Nice little hit into the middle there. Max tries to get a touch back, but doesn't seem to connect well. Wes putting it into the orange half now. And just seems to be ping pong from each side at the moment.
Yeah. Hell, trying to deal with it all by himself. He's got the knowledge to do so. He's also got the execution at the moment. Once again, just applying some pressure. Trying to sneak the ball out the orange half. Paella trying to drive this forward once again. He's first at the ball by a country mile. No one from aggressing that. That's something they might want to look at because there's lots of space being gifted. Loza once again, though, the man to clear up.
Yeah, Loza puts the ball into the mid. Wes looking to get just a shot onto net, but it just goes straight into one of the defenders. Jackson gets a push out to the side. Wes gets another clear, but it's looking like it could have been a pass, but it just didn't connect with Loza there. Jackson puts it out onto the backboard again.
Oh,
Loza tries to put it in the middle, just a bit too far behind Wes there. Unable to get a shot on net.
Once again, those demos really are opening up the net. I know loads of casters ramp on about the disruptive play and demos, but it is proving in this series to be worth Staffordshire's time. They're generating a lot of opportunities as a result of this aggressive play. Jackson pushing the ball forward. Potentially a ball in the middle, not a fantastic one.
Yeah, we're looking the same again. That Burn only have one shot so far, halfway through. Staffs already have 6 shots. Although good defensive chance now, and Mac will score, shutting me up and making it 1-1.
Yeah, it's a well-worked play actually. Paella with the interesting fake, Mac with a good touch. And you have to wonder, where's the defense at the back post? Wes just caught in the middle of the goal there. 2 men in a similar position, but it was a well-worked shot coming in from the Burnmasters.
Loza going for a cheeky Arsenal flip there. Trying to make the RLCS play himself. But not quite working out there. Jackson will get a nice clear off the backboard, but Hell will put it straight back into Paella. Hell looking to get a touch in now, and he makes it 2-1. For the first time this series, Burn are in the lead versus Staffs.
Really nice centre ball to Paella, and that 50-50 is just unimaginably perfect. Slightly slurred my words there, but a well-worked play nonetheless. And hopefully we can see more of this aggression come from the Burnmasters at the moment, because that's something they completely lacked, not just in the whole of last game, at the start of this game as well, but they're really bringing something to the table now.
Yeah, definitely will look to see even more aggression coming out, and Paella, all good touch from Loza there. Puts it out to Wes on the side. Hell trying to get another touch in the middle. Hell seems to be a bit of a playmaker so far.
Loza just testing the Burnmasters' defense, although not very strongly, it has to be said. Almost a fantastic opportunity for Mac to make it 3-1. Paella stretching to reach that ball. It's awfully close to being a 2-2 score.
Yeah, Jackson once again going for another bump there, trying to get the aggressive plays. It was working for them in the first game, working for them at the start of this game, so they're just going to carry on trying to do that. Mac, however, putting the ball onto the backboard and then following up on his shot himself and just missing out there.
He almost did a Geordie double tap of his own. He couldn't quite slot it home. Very difficult read for Loza. Now, we're looking at Staffs try and transition from defence to make some... Paella's just saying no to that. Resets! No, I think he got the reset, but he didn't get a touch, and that's the
Could be an
important
open
part.
net for Staffs now, but no.
It's some lackluster positioning for Staffs. They could have pounced on that. Can they pounce on this? Almost.
Good touch from Wes there. Is there going to be a follow-up? Just misses out there. Max still has the ball with no boost. He's picking up the boost now, and he's got okay 50 there. Paella puts one onto the backboard. Loza will clear. Hell going for the shot now. Simple shot. Easily cleared.
Paella with the fake. That was actually a calculated one. He left it through his teammate. Good on him. Loza up now.
Middle. And the ball will drop, making it 2-1 to the Burnmasters, 1-1 in the series. Definitely better coming out there from Burn. they dealt with Staff's aggression and just completely shut them out towards the end. I think they were definitely the stronger side coming out towards the end there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a deserved victory for the Burnmasters. I think Staffs are going to be wondering what they can do to counter this offensive aggression, because honestly, their defense isn't particularly awful at the moment. One of those goals came about due to an incredible 50-50 from, I believe, Paella. And it was pretty much just a free goal from there. Staffs are going to be looking to trap this Burnmaster team in the offensive zones, I reckon, because that seems to be the best way to stop Burnmasters from doing the same thing. So I think this could be just a battle of aggression from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the reasons why Staffs won the last game is because they just didn't let Burn enter their half at all. Having them tested this game, you can see that they've come out on bottom. So definitely an interesting third game I think is going to come up. See who's going to take the lead in the series.
Yeah, so one thing I'm going to be paying particularly close attention to on the side of Staffordshire is their ability to place themselves a little bit more aggressive and follow up on their teammates' hits, because tragically most of the balls floating around in the midfield weren't dealt with last game. Jackson looking to make a clearance, actually gets a dunk on that. He's done pretty damn well.
Yeah, he's done very well there, coming off the ceiling. Jackson is going to take up the ball now again. He's going to do anything special here. He's going off the ceiling again.
Go on.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do? He's going for it again. Oh, he gets the double touch, but it hasn't worked out. He's just gone off to the side and he can't do anything about it. No one else can follow up on it, and it will not go in and put them up.
The sheer balls on this man to be doing musty double touches. Loz are so close. Oh, back foot from Paella. And that was 3 shots consecutively delivered with very little defense coming out from Burnmasters, but a very well worked play.
Yeah, I think Burn after that attempted musty off the ceiling, I think they were a bit caught during the headlights there and just not knowing where to position themselves, and I think maybe being a bit low on boost, and just they couldn't work out where to go next.
Yeah, Burn have to be pretty spooked this given moment. They've noticed the mechanical abilities and the offensive prowess of this blue side, when realistically their offensive prowess is their only hope of taking this game. Neither team looking incredibly strong on defence, it has to be said. Staffordshire once again, the guys to make the opportunities.
And there it is. Burn giving Staffs a bit of their medicine, getting the demo play, and then essentially putting a lovely infield pass, and Mac just completely puts it past Staff's defender there. I'm not sure who it was, but it's a solid team play there, and it shows what they can do.
Well, I've had my first official caster's curse. It's been not a very long time coming, I'll be honest. It does spice this game up a lot. Both sides looking like they could be the victors in this game. Each equal to each other. 3 very tentative blue players at the moment, trying to work it out between them. Wes looking to make some sort of touch. A touch aided by Paella as well. Wes has the net. Oh, the poor bloke. That could have been 2-1. Loza with a touch down to Jackson. Oh, it's ever so close. It's not going to be a goal. And there were so many opportunities there that could have been converted. Jackson with another demo. Loza with a shot on target. And this aggression from Staffordshire, it doesn't matter how many opportunities you get, so long as you take one of them to put yourself a goal in the lead. 2-1 Staffordshire.
Yeah, once again, we're seeing the aggression coming out all the time. It's just non-stop. Jackson getting demos and just putting... Oh, Paella almost getting a nice little starter goal there. Jackson putting it into the middle. I was actually just informed by Cenarius that Paella is their sub, and he's actually C3. They normally play with an extra 1700. So from that information, I'd say Staff should probably be looking to take this just purely because they have a certain...
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. It's difficult at this level of play to expect someone to be way on top of the backboard as part of your own defense. So Jackson took that knowledge, stuck himself there instead, dropped it down, and Staffordshire really are looking to excel now.
Yeah, I mean, at the start I said I didn't really think Staffordshire had a standout player in this team. I thought they were all very, very similar, but Jackson seems to be putting that right in my face and say, hey, I'm the star player of this team.
Yeah, he's pretty good at Rocket League. I've played against him myself a few times. That doesn't mean much in itself, but I know he's capable of magic. Earlier with that stupidly unfortunate musty double touch. Could have been creating a massive highlight for the channel. Sadly, he didn't convert it. Just for himself, but the viewers as well. Now, what do you think Burnmasters need to do to regain control of this series?
To regain control of the series? Well, I mean, I think they're just stuck in their own half. They just don't seem to be getting the clears that Staffordshire are having, and Staffordshire are just so far on top of them that they just can't do anything against them. I think maybe they need to just get on that back post. And just, there we go. I mean, maybe a back post would have saved them there. Who knows?
We're going to have to look at this one again. Mac and Hell up at the same time. Mac turns early. Oh, Pyela couldn't quite reach that, unfortunately. Possibly some back post positioning would have helped him out. That's a really damn good shot from Wes.
Yeah, very good shot.
Really pushing forward in this game. Jackson trying something special again. Maybe too cocky for his own good this time.
Almost getting a dunk on the backboard there, though.
Almost. Wes edging forward. Nice demos coming out from Pyela, actually. I have to say, as a Champ 3, he is doing incredibly well this series. Very, very little sources of error from this man, as of yet.
Yeah, before Sin told me that he was a C3, I was definitely thinking he's just another solid part of this team. I maybe noticed a couple of things here and there, but nothing that shouted out, hey, I'm a lot lower than the rest of my team.
Mako versus Wes. Wes wins. Loza. And Mako's has to clear this for his teammate. It was some good understanding of the play for him to dive for that. His teammate was in no man's land. Good bit of cover. Hell. Oh, he almost makes a consolation goal with a beautiful air dribble.
Yeah. Staff's just looking to get this ball down now and just secure the win. Easy 4 win for Staffs there. I think they once again, similar to the first game, that Burn were just completely shut out by the aggressiveness. Once again, they only had 3 shots in comparison to Staff's 11. And I mean, they did get a few more saves, but the scoreline definitely doesn't suggest that.
No, certainly not. Staffs coming into a zone of their own at the moment. Done very well to shut out a team so well. We were discussing what Burnmasters potentially needed to do to clinch back control of this series, and the answer wasn't very substantial, and I think that gives credit to how Staff have played in that last match. We'll see if they can continue that momentum, because the game Burnmasters did take was a little shaky on Staff's end. There wasn't really much aggression being pushed out of defence, but this time so many magical plays. Jackson showing it his stuff. Wes with some well-placed shots. It's looking uphill for Staffs.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how Burn react to this. This is the match point for Staffs now, I believe. And I think they need to somehow match what they were doing in that second game, and maybe try and be a bit more aggressive. I don't know if Staffs are trying to completely lock them out, boost starve them, just keep all of the possession, but we need to see what happens there.
Away we go then. Ball immediately in the blue half, but it's met with a good... Oh, I was going to say a good clearance, but a fantastic infield pass. And a good shot to follow for Burnmasters. That is the start they needed.
Yeah, beautiful infield pass coming out from Hell there. Mac with a very, very comfortable shot on net. Puts Bern 1-0 up in the game.
Wes doing some fancy stuff, gets a flip reset, passes to Jackson. Mako has a lot of space to deal with, and he's just rushed it a bit. Potentially a wasted opportunity. Almost gets the dunk to make it 2-0. Staffordshire maybe a little bit shaky, maybe a bit of unluckiness. We'll have to see as this game progresses.
Yeah, Wes just looking to slow the play down a bit there. Jackson getting another bump onto one of the opposition. Wes puts up in the air, Mac will then look to hit it in the middle. Jackson intercepts the play. Gonna get an interesting bounce now. We'll see what Hell can do with it. Hell puts a lovely touch onto the backboard and Mac follows it up very well, and Wes will look to touch this up the wall, but he misses the ball. Good opportunity for Bern here, however they can't capitalise. Jackson do a couple of fancy flips in the air now, maybe get a pass into the infield. Does not work, however.
Down to the Blues. Was a waxer ball forward, not much they can do as for following up. Wes trying to put another ball in the box. And I fear this is all Staffordshire have going for them at the moment. They're ramming loads of pressure into the corner, but Bern aren't really looking to be in a position of panic to concede so many easy opportunities. As I'm saying this, beautiful piece of triangle play. Is that a thing? It is now from the Staffordshire team.
Yeah, Jackson maybe trying to look for a bit of a pass there into Wes, but Wes isn't there to take it. Well, looking to get a clearance off the wall. Jackson trying to go for that dunk. Eventually just goes to Wes. Will it go in? Almost a touch straight down from Jackson on the backboard. But however, it just couldn't connect, and it was a nice save in the end from Bern.
Back into the corner we go. Jackson infield pass to Wes. Doesn't make it happen. Paella and Mac giving the ball a whack, but nothing much to come from it.
Yeah, we're halfway through this game now. It still looked more in the favour of Staffs, but they just, like you said, they're just putting the ball continuously in the corner and not actually doing anything with it.
2 minutes 20 left on the clock then for Staffordshire. They're going to have to do a lot more than drive the ball into the corner repeatedly until Bern hopefully make a mistake. Hell, good 50-50. Jackson taking control again. He's a very controlling player. He's very good at following up on his own touches, following up on the touches of teammates, getting these dunks on offensive players. He's doing it all. Fantastic infield pass, cleared away beautifully from Wes. We're going to see Staffordshire look for this one goal they so desperately need.
Wes opts for the touch there, goes for the flick, can't manage to get a decent enough touch on it. Lozo, I think, backflips there, or he decides to opt out of the challenge there. Almost another dunk from coming out from Bern. Wes looking for a special hit, but he doesn't even need it because Jackson will follow up on his own hit and put that in, managing to make the score 1-1.
Jackson is the man you need when you're down. He's putting on this pressure. He's delivering lots of shots with his mechanical ability, placing balls on the backboard, placing the balls infield. He's just doing a lot of good things at the moment, and hopefully Staffordshire can continue this newfound aggression.
Yeah, the aggression definitely looks to have picked up a little bit more now. However, Bern, they are on the aggression. Aggress. Let's just say aggress. They are aggressing, and they're actually putting a shot on the net, and it's actually even gone in. Hell, makes it 2-1. Minute to go.
Very have to see what happened there. Oh, Wes has just whiffed. That's all that can be said, really. It was a good ball to the backboard, I assume, but Hell just making the most of a big whiff, really. It's 2-1 to Bern. Staffordshire are going to be disappointed if they lose this game. They're going to be looking to claw this one back in the fashion that they did with that massive victory that we saw last game.
Only a minute to go though, so not a lot of time. They need to do something now. But Jackson puts a nice big clear out there, putting it all the way across field. Hell looking to send it back to Paella there. Paella just missing out. Jackson with a nice interception. Wes putting it straight back up to Hell. Hell might have a flip reset here. He does, but he can't connect with it. Paella puts it out to the side. Jackson with a hit. I think there's no one in net now. Jackson might get a shot on net, but he doesn't quite get it.
Don't know if that was the right play to go for Jackson. Potentially could have left the ball. Somebody could have done something a bit more substantial with the opportunity that was granted to him. Once again, aggressing are the blue team. 5 seconds left on the clock. Wes hits it forward to the backboard. Jackson to follow, potentially. Hell's done very well with that, though. Oh, and the side flip.
Loza with the side flip. Can't keep it up there. But now we are going to game 5, I believe. If I'm right, am I right?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure, but Burnmaster's put on one hell of a display that time. The Staffordshire Stampede, I still do think, looked more promising when it came to generating opportunities, but Staffordshire just lost it at the back this game, I reckon. Wes with a few misses, conceded, and that's never a good sign, because that does go to show that if none of the goals are memorable, they were hardly well worked. So Staffordshire have a lot to make up for in this next game.
Yeah, definitely. I think this loss was just Staffordshire's defence this game. I don't think Burn did anything too impressive at all. They just played in the end. Staffordshire with a couple of whiffs and just letting some easy goals in. Once again with more shots. I don't think there's been a game where Burn have had more shots than Staffs. So it's, I think, just the objective for the Staff side now is just to get that defense sorted, keep the aggression up. Server went down for maintenance. We love to see it.
Things you love to see.
Things you love to see. All right. We'll see if Kiza can get the server up again.
Yeah, the Staffordshire boys just joined up, thinking the other team was ready. So we're just going to give it a minute or so for Kiza to get this lobby back up. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in this one, because it's been a bit of a back and forth series. Staffordshire look like the stronger team in terms of their fullest potential, but whether they can deliver the expectations we've got for them is a completely different matter altogether. Now, this is an important game, of course, because whoever wins this avoids getting knocked out, and neither team particularly wants to get knocked out.
Of course not. If they win this, they go into the top 16 and with a chance to play us.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if they're going to play us, but I don't know how this all works. It's just we're playing on Mondays. We'll see what happens. We'll turn up, but I believe all of the players are now in the server, and I think we can get going again.
Yeah. Players joining up. We'll see who gets the possession off the kickoff and starts their drive forward, because kickoffs are so important in this game. Hell being the one to make the most of the victorious possession gained. Mac with a big clearance. Doesn't make Jackson struggle for a second though. Jackson deals incredibly well. Wes to the side. It's a massive gap again. He did that a few games ago as well. Just the wall, hoping someone's there to follow. Fantastic pinch from Jackson.
Interesting whiff from Hell there, and a bump. Could this lead to a goal? No, it doesn't. Loza putting the ball out. Wes is a bit too close for that. However, he still does get a shot. That's a triple commit. No, it's a double commit. Paella doing well not to follow his teammates there.
Oh, that's a well-placed shot from Jackson. Very well worked indeed. The double commit really was the killer for this Burnmaster side. Paella, he probably could have made contact. It's a bit slow to react, but you can't diss the guy. The intent was fantastic. Execution, not so much. 1 goal to Staffordshire.
Yeah, very early on in this game now, which could spell something good for Staffs, but it also gives Burn a long bit of time to play with. A very close shot from Wes there, almost going and put them 2-0 up very early on. Hell puts the ball up the field. Wes throws it back in. Throws it back in, throws it back at him. And an interesting double commit, but I think we did see one of the Blues pull out there, probably in comms, waiting to hear the call.
Jackson trying to work some magic with, well, terribly low amount of boost. It was optimistic to say the least. Burnmasters looking to make some plays going forward. They've connected with not 1, not 2, but 3 passes. Make it 4, make it 5! Oh, that is a beautiful play. That's exactly what we needed to see from Burnmasters. Nothing Wes can do. He did the right thing to wait. A fantastic infield pass. Mako slots one home. That is what we need to see from Burnmasters if they want to clench this series.
Yeah, Mac seems to be this third player which just slots all these shots in. He's definitely the main goal scorer for this Burn side.
An interesting cut in front from Hell there. Definitely not necessary. His teammate had that. Could spell disaster for Burn. No, it doesn't. Hell's there to mop up. No Blues aggressing a ball that unexpected.
Once again, Jackson coming out with a bump. Trying to get that second or third man out of the play and make it easier for his teammates to capitalise.
Nice touch from Jackson. Nicely followed up with a doink. Mako clears to the side. Potentially an infield pass opportunity to Wes. The shot sort of disappeared from view. Whiffed it. Flew away. And cried himself to sleep. But hopefully Staffordshire can retain some of the pressure that they built during some previous games.
Yes, we are over halfway now in this game. And this game will decide which team makes it to the top 16 of the EURC. Currently, it's looking very, very close. I don't know who's a call on this. I would maybe say Staffs, but Burn can just pull anything out of the bag of this series, so who knows.
I would say Burnmasters have had one memorable play, which was that five-man passing play. Other than that, it's just been silly goals conceded for Staffordshire this whole series. So I am in favour of Staffordshire winning this match if they can just stay solid. Jackson hits it back to his own defence. Shaky stuff.
Yeah, Jackson calling Wes off the ball there. Mac trying to get a clear out. Nice little touch from Wes. Can he take it by himself? No, Mac will then put it into the middle. Loz maybe getting a possible shot chance there. And then Burn getting the aggressive bump themselves.
Good piece of mechanical showcase from Loza there. Got underneath the ball, used his flip. Fantastic pass across. Oh, it's a beauty. Wes just slams it across. And an open net for Loza to slot home.
Yeah, lovely pass there coming out, and Loza just slapping it straight into the back of the net. No questions answered. I don't know what I'm saying. No questions asked. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, it's definitely no questions. Oh, there's as well as there being questions answered. There's a question.
Burn have answered this question.
Yeah, they have. That was a good shot and a very good read off his own backboard. Sadly for Staffs, it's a 2-all series now. It's anyone's game.
Anyone's game. Jackson, can he get something flashy by himself here?
Go on,
He's going for an air
son.
dribble again.
Oh.
Goes for the flip reset, but can't quite connect. Also puts it back up to him. What's Jackson going to do? Is he going to pass it infield? Gets a nice hit onto Wes. Wes puts it straight at the net, however. Pilot does clear.
Nice doink from Hell, keeping that possession up. Wes with the clear. Hopefully he can follow up on it, else they're going to be in trouble. He's done so well. Mako drops it straight to Jackson. A piece of... Oh, that's a good save, actually. I was going to say a piece of possession lost, and it was.
Oh, there's so many chances coming out for Staffs here, but they just can't quite put it in.
Wes down from the ceiling to Loza, across possibly to Jackson. There he goes now. A decent dunk on the ball, but possession transferred to the orange half. Loza with one last hurrah.
Could this be the first and the last overtime of the series?
Potentially.
Yes, it will.
Apparently, the ball hit the floor. I was expecting that to roll up his car, but it didn't. Quite an anticlimactic end, and it's going to be a disappointing loss for either one of these teams, but I do think Staffordshire are really not going to be happy if they lose this one, so they're going to be coming out bigger.
One goal now decides who's going to go through and who's going to be knocked out of the tournament.
Jackson almost gets bumped there, dealt with well, just by the simple act of turning his car. This ball placed into the middle, Paella to clear. Straight back down to Loza, not a good connection, Wes being bullied. Oh, that ball was off target, but it really could have been a victory for Burnmasters there.
Yeah, we almost saw the defensive mishap of the series there coming out from the team.
Mac tries to put it to the backboard, but it wasn't high enough and it wasn't met with the power he wanted. Loza with the fake!
Can't put it in there. He did great to fake out the defender, but left it the tiniest bit too late. Maybe he didn't have enough boost to get round to it. But nice shot by Wes, and it's so close now.
Loza
got this win.
Back to the middle. Wes driving the ball forward. Met well by Paella. Hell with the shot. Oh my gosh, it's so close. That was a fantastic redirect. Met with a fantastic clear as well straight after. It really is anyone's game.
Loza doing well as the only man back there. Putting a nice hit out onto the side. Wes should get a decent clear off of this. Puts it straight out the net. Jackson can get a touch, and it's just hit the crossbar.
Oh, he's pulled a hell. It was so close. So close to being the redirect of dreams. Redirect to keep their EURC hopes alive. But sadly the flame and the spark have burnt out. Hell almost with an oak. Oh Christ. Not sure which direction he's aiming to go in, but it's not that way.
With a lovely touch on the backboard.
Oh,
You can't get around it there yet. Jackson with the whiff. Loza needs to hit the ball. He's backflips. Loza. Oh, Jackson's gone. He's had enough. He can't believe it. Burn have done it. Burn have taken this.
I can't believe it either.
So surprisingly.
Burnmasters have pulled out some magic, proving that you don't need to be entirely dominant when it comes to opportunities and the possessional game. It really does just come down to playing with some solidity, making the most of your opportunities, and ultimately just not making mistakes that lead to such blatant goals as that last one was.
Well, that last goal just sums up the entire series for Staffordshire there. What led to them losing all of their games that they had lost were just defensive mistakes. They were on top of the game the entire series. There was so many chances for them to actually win that last game way before overtime, and they just couldn't do it. It was the defensive mistakes that just led to their eventual loss. Burn, fair play to them. They stayed strong, and they put some lovely passing plays in the end, and they actually come out with the win.
Yeah, it was a very, very entertaining series, especially that last game, which could go either way. I've just been informed that whoever just won that game, which was in fact the Burnmasters themselves, aren't actually qualified yet. They still have one last strong team to devour in their next matchup. That being the University of Jyväskylä, if I pronounce that correctly, consisting of Torquay, Maka and Anchor, but I do believe one of their top players will not be performing today if their game is played today, and that will be an incredibly interesting series.
Yes, I completely forgot that wasn't even the semi-final. I thought we were casting a semi. Well, you know what I mean. It's called the semi-final. So they're going to be facing Jyväskylä. So they still have one more game away to qualify for that top 16 group stage. So it should be interesting. I think that is going to be casted. I don't know who's that's going to be casted by. Do we know that?
I'm not entirely sure either, but I believe that's we've been given today to run through. I think that's all the English teams, the UK teams rather, have performed on the stage today. We've watched Durham Defenders versus Padua, which was a very interesting affair, clinched by the Italians, followed up by Warwick versus Padua, a very defensively minded team against a very offensively minded team. Very close series that was, taken by Warwick 3-2. And finally the match played between Staffordshire and Burnmasters, which Burnmasters have clinched.
Who do we have coming up next then?
I believe that the next game between Jyväskylä and Burnmasters, which has just been mentioned to be by Scenarius, will be on the Finnish stream at Ulu Arctic Gaming. So if you guys do want to watch that, feel free to check it out. I'm sure it'll be a close series, and there's two very entertaining teams matching up against each other. But I think that's a wrap for all the series that we have to cover today. So
Is it?
I believe so.
Or do we
Unless
have
you
one
feel
more?
otherwise.
I think we might be casting the Newcastle game. Yes, we're casting Newcastle versus Hamburg.
Awesome.
I believe.
Yeah, that's what Scenaris has just messaged me. So apparently, Hamburg have knocked out Kiel. Well, I'm not sure about knocked out, but they've beaten Kiel. So we can definitely consider them a competitive team, at least. I know nothing about this Hamburg roster personally, but we know how devastating Newcastle can be. Not us personally, we're quite well known for smashing Newcastle, but they're a very strong team
Savage.
indeed.
Alright, I think, are we going to look to go to a break now while we get the
Yeah.
next team in?
That's the plan. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back with Newcastle versus Hamburg. So
See
we'll
you in a
see you
bit.
guys then.
the night, the city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on. Open your eyes and see the people chanting, slowly falling apart. The silence causing an earthquake. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling higher, and I know I can be taller. Shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on.
We used to think our words were gold, that our blinded hearts could withstand cold. We were catching diamonds in the rain, letting precious water through the drain.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined once again by Geordie Unknown
What up?
in quite an exciting matchup between Newcastle Octanes and Ahoy Hamburgers from Hamburg, believe it or not. Newcastle Octane, obviously, most of you guys would have seen a bunch from their NSE successes in the past, or more recently getting slaughtered 3-0 by the Portsmouth Paladins. The Ahoy Hamburgers look like an incredibly strong team on paper as well. TK being a name I definitely Mjezo, and apparently he's a goat on the sticks according to his name. We'll have to live up to expectations.
Yeah, they just beat the Kiel side 3-1, and we definitely know how strong Kiel are in terms of the NSE rankings. I think since then they have around a couple of 1800 or 1700 players, so it should definitely be interesting coming into this Newcastle game. This is a game that is actually going to affect who goes into the top 16, unlike how I was wrong last series. But I think we should be ready to go into the game.
Yeah. Very, very difficult to call at the moment. We know Newcastle to be a strong team, so maybe there's some bias there. We'll have to see who comes out of the blocks first. Seemingly very average kickoff, not really going the way of either side. Jeff trying to deliver some pressure. Pushing out of his own defense, does so well. Back into the orange end now. Raffro up. It's a bit of ping pong, just the teams getting used to each other at this given moment. Special coming from either side. To see what comes from this game.
Yeah, TK looks to get a little bit of a shot on there. Raffro puts a nice clear out to the side. Magic gets an interesting touch there. I think just a bit of a misplay. Zaitan looking to get a nice once play there, but he can't quite do it. TK backwards, looking still backwards.
Oh
Jeff
my
hits a
gosh,
hit
Jeff.
onto the post. Not sure what was quite going on there, but Newcastle have retained the goalless score.
Why drive forwards when you can go backwards and not contribute to the team whatsoever? That was the mentality with TK's obvious fake back then. Now a lot of pressure actually being delivered in the blue end, which is not good for any Newcastle supporters, but nothing much coming from these opportunities. Jeff with a solid doink there, transferred back down, transferred back to Jeff. It's a flick into the middle, a big whiff from the Jezzo.
Yeah, we saw Zaitan landing very awkwardly there and leaving pretty much what was an open net for Newcastle, but I believe one of the players did back him up and was able to get a clearance out in the end. Raffro, a key player for this Newcastle team, definitely the carry of the team, and we're going to be looking towards him to see what kind of plays he can bring out for his team and see what he can do.
Yeah, at the moment, Raffro doing as you'd expect him to do, nicely positioned wherever he needs to be on the field. Trying to
However,
make
not what we expected there. A whiff.
Yeah, big whiff.
However, it doesn't seem to affect his team much at all as it was in the opposing half. No team seems to be really on top of the other at the moment. It's quite 50-50. Nice little touch from TK there. Jeff puts it out to the side. The Jezzo puts it straight back out. Raffro looking to touch this now. Dodges the bump there. Looking to go on his own maybe. Just going for a dunk. Doesn't quite work.
Zaitan with the clearance, a fantastic read off his backboard there. Tricky one. You wouldn't expect every single player at this level to hit those, but he does so. Mjezzo, or Mjezzo, looking to escape their own half, but these orange players are well and truly stuck for now, but not stuck anymore. There's a big whiff coming from the blue end on a clear that really could have come into fruition.
Raffro opting for a fake then, knowing that if he was going to get another hit on that ball, it would just slap straight out to the side and be completely useless. It was a bit of an interesting pass from Jeff. I believe it could have been better to Raffro, and that could have secured them the first goal of the series.
Yeah, well, slapping the ball and doing something useless. The reoccurring theme so far is these teams are just testing each other's general capabilities with harsh balls being fired back and forth. Nice bit of spacing between this orange team actually. TK edging ever so closely forward, met by a pass from Zaitan, almost a one-goal game for the Ahoy Hamburgers.
Nice touch clearance there from Jeff, getting I believe 2 defensive touches. Jeff puts a pass into the middle, but it was just a bit too far behind Raffro to capitalise there. Raffro getting beaten on the side, but it's not really in any dangerous position right now.
Jeff lurking on the backboards. The connection is not met. Passed nicely back to the Blues, courtesy of the orange. Zaitan takes a first touch, beats the first man, a very important man to beat at that. 50-50 well met by Jeff. And once again, possession just being transferred from team to team. Magic almost works exactly that.
Raffro just missing out on a double touch there, putting a pass into the middle, and it's a whiff from Magic, or maybe he wasn't expecting that ball to come over him simply because of that interesting demo that came out there when they demoed each other. Maybe he thought Jeff was going to get the first touch. Either way, Magic could probably been positioned better at the back post there in case of the inevitable of what did happen. And Hamburg go 1-0 up with 32 seconds to go.
Yep. And a goat on the sticks. He might not have been in that play, but he was able to rise to the occasion, getting up in the air nice and quickly, slotted one home. Newcastle have their work cut out for them. And they're not going to be wanting to see a game 1 loss against a team that you'd expect they would feel confidence against, given the calibre of teams that they're playing in the leagues of their own. Jezzo up to the corner. Raffro back into the centre. Jeff trying to make some sort of touch. The ball hits the floor. And it's a one. Well, the first game taken by Ahoy Hamburgers.
Raffro's just restarting his game. Might have had some dropped FPS there. So he's going to try and regain that. And hopefully come better into the second game. Because I'm not really sure quite what happened that game. I mean, I was watching, but nothing really happened.
No, it was, well, as you said, nothing really happened. It was an incredibly back and fair between the two sides. Lots of possession being thrown away from, well, the middle of nowhere perhaps. Lots of opportunities that could have been taken, met by balls thrown directly to the opposition. So the seconds ticking down, 15 seconds we got left until the next game. Newcastle are going to be wondering what they need to do to take this win. And speaking of which, what do you think they need to do to clinch this next game?
I think they just need to stop whiffing. There's been a lot. I think there was quite a decent amount of whiffs coming out. I mean, also, we saw the whiffs from Raffro, so hopefully this restart is definitely going to help him with that. And I don't know. I mean, the passes that they were having, they just weren't connecting at all. So maybe this game they'll have those passes connect better. And I think I could probably see them winning this next game.
Well, we'll have to see. Newcastle haven't provided too much intensity of their own quite yet. Possession is completely neutral. Nobody taking control quite yet. TK's going to look to blast this ball forward once again with no real intent, no real idea in his head of where that ball's going. Jeff happy to pounce on a ball he didn't need to. And the Blues looking very sloppy at the back at the moment. Well controlled nonetheless.
Jeff puts it into the opposing half using his air roll there to keep his momentum quite well. Saitan gets a decent 50 there with Raffro. Go on the sticks.
Oh,
Puts a close shot on there, but can't quite put it in. Magic just misses Jeff. Puts an interesting touch that actually does go over Zaitan. Raffro puts a big clear out there, looking to go on his own. As TK just misses. Can Raffro get a pass in the middle? He does, but once again the pass does not connect. Jeff putting it straight into the other team.
oh.
No one in mind, and he misses the ball. There's the whiff again, and Newcastle will go 1-0 down in this series.
Oh, as we were saying, hitting the ball with intent is something both of these teams lacks at the moment. And no real redeeming qualities from Jeff there as he P-rolls the ball down to a free net for the Hamburgers. We're going to have to see if they have any inspiration to switch up the play a bit instead of just whacking the ball here, there and everywhere. Really try and connect. As we see Jeff driving around the sides.
I think TK got a demo onto Raffro when he was rotating out there. Left Raffro. Now he has no boost at all. Magic gets a very, very nice clear, which he was dropping in, but Zaitan gets a good clear there. Jeff keeps the pressure up, so does Magic. Or was it Raffro? I don't know. Yeah, it was Raffro getting it, but now TK puts a shot onto net. Jeff with a decent save, putting it out to the side. Jeff looks to take it up again, puts it past one. TK once again getting a demo on his way out there.
He's taking a lot of initiative to remove these offensive plays entirely. Lots of demos coming out on his rotations. Rotating very slowly back to defense, just staying on his point of view. And for good reason, he's got no need to. He might as well stay upfield and generate some opportunities while he's there.
Talking about generating opportunities, that was a very interesting little play there from the Hamburg side, but Raffro will now look to take it up the field. And he can't quite get that last touch, which puts it forward. And once again, he just misses out on the touch there. TK might get a pass in the middle here.
Ooh.
Nice clear from Magic there.
Yeah, it was a close one. It was a nice opportunity. Okay, middle, but he slightly rushed it. I think he underestimated just the amount of space that he had at his disposal. Magic got his work cut out for him. He needed to release that ball quicker. Now, one thing the Hamburg team is completely excelling at in this series is the speed at which they're challenging loose balls and aggressing that man in possession. And now that is a quality that Newcastle are currently lacking. There's very, very little pressure being applied to Hamburg.
Yeah, Hamburg not letting the Newcastle team have any time on the ball here, making sure that every time the ball is out in that open space, they have a man on it. But now, interesting, possible double commit that was about to happen, but I believe they did call his teammate off there. TK might get another touch here. An interesting bounce. Jeff will hit it. Raffro should get a clear out here. Can Jeff hit it back into the middle? No, he opts to take it down. Puts it past one quite cleverly, but can't get it past the other.
Some good vision from Jeff, but some poor execution. He saw the space he had in front of him. Really didn't do too much with it. Although the idea implanted in his head was a good we need to see from Newcastle if they're to stand any hope of a Game 2 victory.
Yeah, Newcastle yet to score in this game and this series.
Maybe a freebie.
Not looking great. However, there's some very nice saves coming out from Jeff here. Jeff has been playing generally quite well this series, apart from that big defensive whiff in the first game.
Yeah, this game does seem to be looking up for the Hamburgers once more. Magic rattling that one to the corner. Zaytan being pretty optimistic to say the least. Goat on the sticks forward to TK. Quite an opportunity. Well received.
Yeah, I mean, Hamburg just don't seem to be phased by Newcastle at all. Their defence seems to be fairly decent, and they're looking to get another goal there, but it will drop down and go 2-0 up in the series versus Newcastle. Hamburg looking to clear this out in a sweep next game.
And what a sweep that would be, taking down the Titans of the UK. Newcastle, not an easy team to beat whatsoever. And you can just see the stats tell it all. Ahoy Hamburgers really coming into this game swinging, with 10 shots on the side of Hamburg and only 2 met by the Newcastle Octanes. And it is looking to be a very sad affair for Newcastle at the moment. They just need to find a way to connect with each other, or even themselves, just to follow up on their own touches. Just try and deliver some pressure. They haven't really provided with us in these first 2 games.
Yeah, we see Raffro leaving the game again. Maybe it was another restart, maybe he was changing a car or something, but at the bottom of the leaderboard there, I know points aren't everything, but with only 94 points in 5 minutes, that isn't something that we usually see coming from Raffro. He's the star player of the Newcastle team. We need to see him step up and carry this team. Not completely carry it, but at least put the same amount of quality in as his teammates.
Yeah, there may be some truth underlying in what you said, but regardless, the Hamburgers did play an excellent game, and they did show that they are, excuse me, a team not to be messed with, just for the sake of their sheer solidity when it comes to their play. Very few mistakes being let go. All 3 of these players on the Hamburg side know what to do to win.
Well, we've seen what Raffro's done. He's changed out to the Scarab. He wants the flakes of the bed. What a great dunk by Magic there. It's their first goal of the series. They're looking to start this reverse sweep going.
Oh, who cares about the Scarab when you got Magic in the air? He's done incredibly well to find that dunk. And it's 1-0 to the Newcastle Octanes. That is going to be a nice shove of momentum. Maybe needed for them to excel in this series. Open net. Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
we had more
Rafa.
goals in the first 14 seconds than we did in the first 5 minutes of the last game and the first 5 minutes of the game before.
I mean, Raffro throwing the ball to the side, conceding possession, and there's no Blues back on rotation to cover the net he left. It's quite a disappointing way to cancel out all the hope they had. Magic with a flip reset to Jeff. That's an incredible goal, especially considering the bump that Magic got after this touch. Flicks it up. I think he lands on someone. Here we go. He's just Goomba stomped him.
Nice Goomba onto TK there. Will we see another goal very, very soon, as the rest of the game has been, or will we see it slow down a bit?
I think at some point we can assume the pace to slow down, but a shot stop the shots from being fired. Massive clear delivered from M. Jezzo. Jeff trying to get some sort of dunk on it. Magic up in the air. TK sort of ruins all of the prowess of that initial touch.
TK low boost there, doesn't manage to get hit up the field. Keep the possession for his team, however, it's put now onto the sideboard. And Magic with an interesting whiff there, but Rafa will clean it up and put hit onto their backboard. Majezo puts out to TK. TK putting it back to Majezo. Zaitan get a 50 there with Jeff. Jeff wins the 50. Magic going for another 50, and this is just a game of 50s for the moment.
Yeah, again, a few opportunities wasted on offense there, just opting to go directly forwards instead of throwing it to any corners, any walls, or any teammates. Really is just a battle of who has the most solidity in their touches and who can put the other team out of position. And Jezzo blasts the ball forwards. Can't quite follow up on it. Jeff to the side. Nobody there to follow from the Blues. That's pretty concerning. Raffro taking his time.
Yeah, like we said before, there's for the Hamburg team, they just seem to have a man on the ball every single second of the game, but we're just not seeing that from Newcastle. However, they are the ones leading this game, so they just need to hold on at the moment. Interesting shot there coming from TK. Afro with a good save and then putting it further up the pitch. Nice little pre-flip there from Majezo, keeping possession of the ball. TK puts an interesting hit to the top curve there. Jeff will put it forward. Afro with a 50, winning the 50. Might put this into the middle now. Can't do it.
No doubt with that's 2 blue men expended and a counter-attack for the Oranges. You can just see how solid this defence is, for the sake that whenever that first man is beaten, whenever that second man is beaten even, there's a player to follow up. And as we were saying, it's not something we've seen particularly from Newcastle this series. Regardless, they are going into this game, this last 2 minutes rather, with a 2-1 lead. And hopefully, for any UK supporters, they can continue that surge of momentum from the first 30 seconds.
Well, we do have a chance there, and it is put away from Majezo, making it 2-2. A nice shot there coming out from Majezo. An interesting 50-50, whatever that was there, pinch, that went straight to Majezo, and he was just able to put a simple shot onto net, and it goes in.
Well, whether you consider that play to have been well worked for the sake of Majezo's positioning, or whether you think it was sheer luck with the 50-50 that occurred, it is a 2-2 game now, and I think it's a well-deserved 2-2 draw. Once again for Hamburg, they are playing incredibly well at the moment. Raffro driving the ball forward. Nice demo on the last man, but again a player to sweep up. Magic into the middle. Jeff to follow. Again a man to follow. Hamburg is looking comfortable.
They are. Magic just swoops in there, completely just throws himself at the ball, putting him out of the play, and Hamburg make this game 3-2. No player on the blue side there ready.
It's a fantastic backboard boomer from the orange side. Easily met with an open net. Nobody there to follow. Magic driving his way forward. Flicks one. Zaitan to follow with 2 men behind him. Things you do love to see. Raffro down forwards. Jezzo booming that one down. Magic. Oh, that was nearly something terrible, something horrible from the Newcastle boys.
Yeah, with only 55 seconds left to go, Newcastle definitely need to pull something out magic here.
Raffro doing well, using his experience to not be afraid of the spinny man in the air and to instead aggress him. Oh, Zaitan, you beauty. He's taken the ball to the side, he's noticed the space he's been given and he's gone for the shot to go for. Doomsday dish to himself. Hamburg looking comfortable.
Yeah, beautiful execution there from Zaitan. 4-2 with only 38 seconds remaining on the clock now. Newcastle need to do something now and they need to do it very, very quickly. Otherwise, it's looking like a 3-0 sweep. The Hamburg team will be going through to the top 16.
Yep. I think the 5th best performing team in Uniliga, or either best performing team in Uniliga series. Some say there isn't as much depth in the Uniliga scene as there is in NSE. However, the Uniliga side, which are top 6 in their respective league, have shown that they can outperform a potential top 6 team from the UK. Ahoy Hamburgers taking this one 3-0. Majezo with an interesting celebration of shouting ahoy.
Yeah, a very, very dominant performance there from the Hamburger side. It was just not Newcastle's day today. I just don't think that I know from personal experience that is not how they usually play, in my opinion. Raffro just wasn't really connecting with his team, I don't think, and it just led to an easy 3-0 sweep by the Hamburg side.
Yep, it was a well-worked victory for the Hamburg. Next up, after this series, which we've just covered, is going to be Loughborough, who are going into a game 5 versus Doran. So I do hope you've enjoyed the casting and the games we've produced, but we are going to leave it here for today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you beside me, Geordie.
It's been a pleasure. It's the first time we've ever done this.
Yeah.
But it might not be the last, who knows?
Might not be the last. So I think we're going to cut it there. Congratulations to the Hamburg for defeating the Newcastle Kings. A very, very entertaining series.
All I wanna do is to get round around you and watch these moments fall back into place. All I wanna do is to make you stop and love me. How can I be blue when you catch me in these feelings like okay. I love you, I do need you, I do, I do need you, I love you, I do need you, oh, I do need you, oh, I love you, I do need you, I do, I do need you, I love you, I do need you, oh, I do need you.